The views shared on this podcast are personal opinions for conversation and insight only. Guest perspectives are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Kalaj Dame or this podcast. Nothing discussed here should be taken as legal, financial, medical, or professional advice. Always do your own research and make decisions based on your individual situation.
I think a lot of that, like a lot of my demeanor came from like losing my mom really early, you know, and then that kind of just left me jaded.
I get it.
You know, towards the world.
I get it.
You know, I mean, my father has an excellent relationship. He's like one of my heroes. Like I had an excellent representation of what a man was. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, my father worked on me with emotional regulation.
What you mean?
He knew I had a temper. And a lot of times, like a black man with a temper don't end up in too many favorable places, regardless of what our intellect is.
Yeah.
Regardless of how we move, regardless of our athleticism. Yeah. If you got a certain type of temper.
Yeah.
Anybody that sells life insurance, you're an independent contractor.
Okay.
So I'm 1099. You know, there's certain marketing that the company is going to do as far as like getting leads, but you know, I still have to pay for my leads. I have to do like all of my own marketing. I have to do all of my own like visual upkeep. All that stuff is up to me. So I'm basically, when you sell life insurance, you are a liaison between the person and the company. I was like, yo, who's the dopest MC to you? He said, me. And I remember he said before he even met us, and this is one of the most compliments, gave me goosebumps just thinking about it. He said, man, I didn't even meet y'all yet. And he said, I heard y'all's mixtape, No Just Us, No Peace. And it was the green and blue one. And he said, when I heard that, he said, that's who I want to be rapping with.
Oh, you mistakenly heard a beat from my like A folder.
Uh-huh.
And you was like, yo, what is that? I need that. And I'm like,
I got a thing. It's where if I'm listening to a producer, especially from Friends Wedding, I always say no to the first three.
Okay.
Always. Even if they're hard. Just to be a good man, I think you gotta put forth effort to make stuff uncomfortable for people. Right. Because way too much about life is about everybody being comfortable.
Yeah.
Everybody want to be politically correct. And everybody want everybody to feel good. Everything don't feel good all the time. Life just don't feel good all the time. Everything just ain't, you know what I mean? My mom used to say, every day ain't Kennywood.
We just shine a light where they hide the grave. It's the Kalaj Dame podcast.
Cory, swank God. Man. Yeah, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you for coming, for real. I don't even know where to start. The rapping insurance salesman.
Yeah.
The rapper, just monster. Member of the JSP, Justuce Street Poets.
Yeah, perfect enunciation.
Man, just and been doing it for years. The Cory I know is literally a monster at anything he throws himself into and takes so much pride, not only in accomplishing and winning, but the art form of it, how you do it, very meticulous and crafting in like every aspect of life, constantly chiseling and shaping your own.
I'm big on self-assessment.
Yeah.
Because due to the nature of my job, I spend so much time alone. You know, hours, thousands of hours. You know, and really, because what my job is really, I'm either speaking to somebody, 45 seconds at a time or 45 minutes, unless it's some type of service or something like that.
Right.
Just with me spending so much time alone, I have a lot of time to think and judge myself against myself and judge myself against my peers and the arenas that I do care about.
Yeah. That I'm gonna write that down. That's a good one. That it's a hot topic for me that I talk about stuff like that to my wife all the time. But I love to be able to talk about certain concepts, especially with like black men.
Yeah.
Where it's like you don't see it too often. You know, with like it's very rare when you see like a high standard or a high morale. It's like something that you hold yourself to.
Yeah.
When you look at another brother and see that they hold him, it's like, yo, bro, let's talk about this.
There's a particular standard that I hold myself to just as far as like in public or now like even business wise, and how the type of care I want to take of my clients, or even when I was to approach music, you know, in any facet that I would have done that. I want to, you know, enter any arena that I enter in, I want to be one of the best at it. Like there's nothing I've ever really done or set my mind to or you know, pursued that I wasn't one of the best at.
Right.
You know, so I try to always keep that.
That's the thing. So before we get in too deep, I definitely want to give my introduction to you, which I have one very clear memory. 10th grade computer class. And I forgot her name. And she yelled out, Cory Odoms. And I turned, I'm like, oh man, why did you do it? Bro's like, that's not my name.
Yeah, when my mom was really proud of our name, you know, it's such a rare name to where if you see it, you know, you might see it without the apostrophe, but if you see that apostrophe, capital D, guaranteed they're going to be related to me. Yeah. And, you know, with it having misconceptions of the way it look, people think they're going to be Irish and all this type of stuff. And, you know, she always made a point to make sure that they pronounce your name properly. You know, make sure they respect your name.
Yeah.
And that's just something I'm big on. Like even with how my rap name was Corio with the French spelling. Yeah. You know, I was big on checking people. It ain't Cory Ox, it ain't Eaux, or no, this is Corio. Yeah. You know, just you know, sometimes you gotta, you know, hold your own and respect people and stand your ground. You can't just let people just be calling you anything.
Dad, you know what? I want to touch on that first. So my assessment of you as adults. So we went from high school, and I'm not sure what period in time you started rapping, but I don't remember you rapping in high school. Maybe I just didn't know or wasn't around.
I was rapping a little bit in high school. Me and you know, like the original Justuce was me, Face, you know, Sam, Sharon Don.
Really?
Yeah. John Filbert.
Okay.
And DJ Huggy. Like that was like the original.
I remember DJ Huggy.
Yeah, man. Huggy's a great guy, man. I think he's out of California or something. He did a lot of production for us, you know, early on. He did a couple of my early mixtapes, stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah,
I remember that. I remember having a couple ciphers with Sharon Dawn. I used to rap with Greg. He went by Scientific. Me and him went to middle school together, matter of fact. And I don't know, I was just, you know, cipher. I thought I was an extended Wu-Tang member back then. Yeah. So it went from there to, at some point in the 2000s, after I came back from Atlanta, and I'm seeing Justuce Street Poets and Cory, and I'm like, damn, bro, rap. Yeah. And to me, it was like, before I had spoke to you, before we got like reacquainted, it was like, yo, I want to talk to bro. But when I seen you online, you always had this energy of like, not much smiles, not much happy, just kind of like, I'm not here for play. Like, don't play with me like that, because I ain't on that.
I think a lot of that, like a lot of my demeanor came from like losing my mom really early, you know, and then that kind of just left me jaded. I get it. You know, towards the world.
I get it.
You know, it kind of, in a lot of ways, it made me like unempathetic to other people's losses. Like, you know, because my loss came so early, and you know, me finding my mom and stuff like that, and how crazy it was for me. Yeah. So, like, it was a week after we graduated high school when I found my mom. Like, wow. Yeah, it was. I told the story a lot when I have during like my, you know, my presentations or whatnot. They gave my mom 6 months to live when I was 11, and she ended up living 6 years.
That's dope in itself.
Yeah, so that's why we're always on God's time. That's why I always say, you know, she did have like a slow, painful death and whatnot. However, I'm fortunate for that time that I got with her.
Right.
You know, because I had like the mean mom, the strict mom and whatnot. And I remember she told me, Cory, you got to grow up a lot faster than your friends. That's one of the first things she told me. I was like 12 years old when we had like that family meeting. And she said, I'm gonna live to see all my babies graduate. And I was the youngest. And I found her dead a week after I graduated high school. A week after we graduated high school. Yeah, so that kind of, you know, so after that, you know, I went directly to college and whatnot. And which I wish I would have took a break now. I also wish I'd have went something more geared towards what I loved instead of.
You got a degree in college?
No, I went to college for a couple semesters. Okay. I went for computer science.
Okay.
College really wasn't my thing. 'Cause I wasn't really there mentally.
Yeah.
You know, because I went directly after I lost my mom, June 29th. You know, college start the middle of August.
Yeah.
So I had like a month and a half.
Wow. So you was like.
Yeah. So I went straight to school, and then, but also. My mom said I was always kind of my demeanor to be kind of serious, and I didn't know how to joke or stuff like that. But you know, it took me a while to really, you know. And also, I think as people that know me personally know my sense of humor, because if you think about it, I've never said anything personal online.
No, and you know what? That's kind of the thing that I want to get into. The I don't know if it's a misconception or what. So there's multiple layers, like very wide dynamic of, first I hear my mom was strict and she was serious about probably like respect, make sure people respect you.
My mom was from the country. She was like Muncie, Indiana. Not Muncie prison, but Muncie, Indiana.
Yeah.
You know, one stoplight type town. You know, so
I see all of that. I see the like, nah, dog, you're gonna respect me. Mm-hmm. And that combined with the confidence, combined with the like, this is who I am. I know who I am.
Yeah, I'm very sure, because you know, me and my father have an excellent relationship.
Okay.
Like my father's a great guy. My father's actually he's like a drug counselor and whatnot out in McKeesport. And, me and my father have an excellent relationship. He's like one of my heroes. Like I had an excellent representation of what a man was. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, my father worked on me with emotional regulation.
What you mean?
He knew I had a temper, and a lot of times, like a black man with a temper don't end up in too many favorable places, regardless of what our intellect is.
Yeah.
Regardless of how we move, regardless of our athleticism. Yeah. If you got a certain type of temper.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing that my father worked on me with, was emotional regulation. Like it was my mom that taught me how to throw a football and be tough, and you better go back outside and hit him back and stuff like that. My father was, son, how are you feeling? Why are you feeling this way? Mm-hmm. What led to this? You know, and really getting to like the root of my issues. And,
getting you like critical thinking.
That's my father, that's the main thing my father always worked on me with, whether it was critical thinking as far as religion or women or society, you know, because I grew up in a dual denomination home, you know, because my mother was Jehovah's Witness, my father was Muslim.
Okay.
So, you know, that's why when it comes to like my personal relationship with God, I never condemn whoever or however someone chooses to celebrate that higher energy that created us all, that we all come from.
That right there.
No matter what it is. Yeah. You know, I don't see wrong in it, you know. I'm just grateful for like those main things. Like my father teach me like that emotional regulation, because I know that I can be serious. I know that I can be hyper vigilant. Mm-hmm. That's something that me and Ricky P talk about a lot. Yeah. You know, just with us like being black men in therapy, like going in therapy and really dealing with our issues, and you being hyper vigilant when you think you might become emasculated at some point. Yeah. Or somebody's, I know me and him talk about this a lot, like your blackness. They want to like doubt your blackness because of your intellect and how you may choose to speak and your toughness. And then sometimes that's when you get hyper vigilant and you gotta act out of character like when you're younger, you know? Like
defense mechanism.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so it's really just me. But a lot of times I also say, Facebook, it's hard to gauge me personally from Facebook, really.
I would say,
or online, because I'm very, 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 very selective with what I say.
And that right there kind of closes the gap on a point I was going to make, which is, I agree 100%. Like, me knowing you personally, because the image that I've always gained from you online was not scary because I know you, but at the same time, it's like, well, somebody that he don't know better, like, walk on eggshells.
Yeah,
you know what
and
I mean?
that's kind of like I think that was my defense mechanism. Also, if we're going to be completely honest, I think I know you can attest to this, being a black scholar, and they think you're a punk because of that. And they're like, why, don't make me fuck you up because of that. I'm trying to just do my schoolwork. And it was a lot of that in school, that hypervigilance after a while once you get older.
Yeah.
So, and I know a lot of times in that hip hop sphere, and even in my personal life, I was too hood to be here, and I was too hip hop to be here.
And that was literally where I was going to next. Is the rap music that I hear from this version of this choreo, the one that we're explaining, is almost like a hood boom bap.
Yeah.
That blends in a very unorthodox way.
Yeah.
Where it's like, how do I ingest this? But or digest, but it's still a beautiful art.
Because the one thing with me is, if we're talking about like a project, let alone a song, we're talking about like a project, I treat every project as a piece of art.
Okay.
The beats are my canvas. A lot of times I get my beats first and line them out so I could get a flow. And then I start painting. Sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes just like when you see a painter, it changes. When you sit back and you look at it, because people that are like, do like the visual medium with their hands and whatnot, sometimes they sit back and just look at it.
Yeah.
And I think people that create hip hop now don't sit back and look at it for long enough, because then it would evolve into something else sometimes. Yeah. And that's my favorite part about like creating it. But like back to like, anytime I create like a project, like it's a singular piece of art.
Okay.
Like in that, a lot of that came from the complexities of my group.
Yeah. Which is a very dynamic group.
Yeah. And it made it fun, but it made it extremely hard to market.
Yeah.
But once I learned about
like
music,
the business aspect.
Yeah.
That's literally what I was going to ask you is being right there in that gray area between, because it's like when you rap, it's aggressive. It sounds aggressive.
Yeah, when I'm in my wheelhouse here.
Yeah. But that's just the tone and energy. But to actually listen to you and to be like me, I'm like I'm an MC first, but I'm like a hip hop connoisseur.
Me too.
So as I'm listening, I'm like, oh, like this is some higher intellect.
Yeah,
like this
there's
is
a
real
lot
hip-hop.
of layers. Like there might, like sometimes my artwork might be an entendre. Like I get that deep with it because I enjoy the craft. I'm from that era to where, I'm one of them. I wanted to always be one of them back of the booklet MCs to where I wanted to say something that worth reading. Yeah. Because, like what a lot of people do not understand about hip hop. Some hip hop is kinetic. It's what you're supposed to feel. Some hip hop is cerebral. It's supposed to make you think. Yeah. Sometimes you get a blend of the two. Right. It's rare. A lot of times the more kinetic stuff gets pushed, stuff with frequencies, that kind of. Yeah. That's why, hip hop really now has to be listened to with a discernment. Right. But people don't understand, like, there's different tones to it, and you got to have both.
And that right there, the kinetic cerebral mix, yours has a special blend that I don't think many artists have. How do you sell that?
that's the thing. Like I never really knew. I'm a creative.
So like the Ricky P post, he just posted recently the difference between creatives and capitalists.
Yeah, I've always been a creative. Take Twan, Twan Benefactor.
Okay.
That's my guy.
Right.
You know, me and him been friends since middle school. You could ask him. He said, I'm the reason why he even started MCing. He understands how to profit off a product when it comes musically.
Right.
And that's something I always admired about like what he did. You know, that's something that Sino told me. It's like we have to be making money off this.
Right. Right.
Me and Sam started doing this because we love it. That's why I still do it. You know, you figure I probably record past like a year and a half, probably record like 30 something songs.
Yeah.
And like just because I learned how to record myself, Ricky P was giving me some tutelage on the levels and stuff. And, you know, I always had an ear.
Right. Right.
So like now, like when I create because that's what MCs do. True MC, like, you know what I mean? You create. It's like you, like when you was like, man, I'm about to get a beat machine, man. It's impossible for you to keep talking to people that are in our culture, because it's a culture, and not remember why you started doing it in the first place.
Yeah.
And like some people, they did it because it was, what they say down south, it was a jug. It was a hustle.
Yeah.
And I never really delved that far into, I learned business aspects. I learned like, okay, how much money do I need to break a record and stuff like that. But my main thing is I'm a creative and I put projects together. I know what MC sounds good on what beat. I know what, that's
kind of like the producer aspect, producer artist. That's the thing. You know what? A couple times you hit me, I was a little sensitive about it. Not hit me, but like you made a post and I read it and I'm like, oh, fuck this nigga.
Because a lot of people do. And here's the thing, like when people, like I'll see posts like that, I'll be like, well, it's obvious. Like I'm almost 45 and I still actively rap. It's obviously I could care less about what anybody thinks.
So we're Snapchat friends, right?
Yeah.
I see you on Snapchat and you driving and you, whether it's going through your playlist, whether it's playing a song you just recorded yesterday, new music, and you just be vibing. And the whole energy of it is related to that post that I seen. It threw me off. We like, yo, if you're a real MC, don't give it up. Like you ain't supposed to give up your art. And I'm mad.
Go ahead. This is what I've been wanting to say. This is the main thing.
This is it.
All right. You remember the guy downtown that used to play the saxophone? Back he used to be near Saks Fifth Avenue.
The bald-headed blind dude?
No.
Was he blind?
No. It was a guy. He used to have on a baseball cap, regular outfit, regular job, wad of money, and that people don't understand, but he used to be down there playing the saxophone, killing it. And this used to be one like Saks Fifth Avenue, it used to be Lord and Taylor, and he used to be in that little area right in between there. And he would sit there and he would just kill it with the saxophone.
Lord and Taylor across from Kaufman's?
Yep. And he would be right in that little area, right? And he would have his thing out. You know, people be
by the McDonald's.
Yes.
Okay.
He would have his thing out, killing it. Sometimes he'd be down by Burlington, where the old Burlington used to be.
Yeah.
And he was down there because he was dope. That's it. It didn't have nothing to do with age. It didn't have nothing to do with, I'm dope. Let me show y'all real quick and I'm gonna go back in the house. Now, so you're gonna tell me, like, as a creative, like they say it take 10,000 hours at mass or something. Yeah. I done put that in 4 times, guaranteed. Right. Anybody that knows me, because I'm not naturally as good as everybody. I have to practice a lot more.
Right.
So by the time I've mastered like MCing many facets of it, many skill sets of it, from hook writing to sometimes I just want to play around it. You're going to tell me I can't go outside and play the saxophone because I'm dope and I need a permission slip? If somebody's a painter and they get to this level of painting that they mastered their particular genre painting, like or sculpture or whatever. Like, yeah, I'm nice at this. And as soon as you get nice at it, they're gonna say, no, you can't do that no more.
So this whole narrative of you too old to rap, old rappers don't fit.
No. I'm an artist. I'm a creative.
Right.
I MC. You're not going to tell an MC not to MC. Do you tell him not to go play the sax? Do you tell the painter not to paint?
I think it comes from.
Do you tell the hooper not to go coach the kids because he love it so much?
I think it's a mixed, possibly misunderstood conversation. And I learned this from music class.
Yeah.
So I went back to school in 35. It had to be, I don't know, 10 years ago, somewhere around there. I had to take music class all over again and paid attention this time. One of the things they taught was most of the music today is pop. So like rap today is pop music.
It's very, very much so.
Where pop music in general is sold, bottled up and sold to a younger audience on purpose. Where the concept of the kinetic music that's not cerebral being a form or genre of pop that's being sold and pushed to this younger audience, is there a point where you say, bro, you 40, 50 years old, you should not be talking about these topics and concepts that are feeding the youth?
100%.
You know what I mean?
It all goes on, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But that's always been hip hop.
But that's what I mean, where I think we're blending. We wouldn't do it. We understand the difference. But there's some people that just put rap in a box and say this whole entire
there's
box.
There's many subgenres of rap.
Yeah.
Of hip hop.
Yeah.
Should I say? Like rap is a subgenre of hip hop.
Exactly.
There's many subgenres of rap. Like there's different, like to where rap is getting so melodic now, as to where there's different subgenres of the melodic stuff. Like how do you categorize Playboy Cardi?
I don't know. I don't even see now you might got me on this because I listen to a lot. Like whatever comes on to sound good, I play. But I have a thing against a lot of the like the auto-tune, mumble. So when it comes to MC, I'm more on, I like a certain blend of the cerebral kinetic.
That's my favorite. Yeah.
But I can't, if it's all kinetic and like minimal cerebral and the music doesn't like touch my soul, like pull on my heartstrings or something like that, I can't really
like with me, it won't get, the replay value won't be that high with me, but I can appreciate it and it might make my work playlist. Because I understand hip hop vibrationally. And I use certain songs for certain things. Unfortunately, like the youth isn't going to have that much. I was thinking about that before I came on here. Like, man, it's crazy. Like, it's so weaponized. Like the youth isn't going to have that discernment.
Yeah.
To listen to. Like, I know when to listen to what.
Yeah.
By how I'm feeling, because that's how much I've listened to it. You know, I'm not going to listen to, there's certain stuff that doesn't make my work playlist because I've been curating it for like years now. It's got days and days and days, like 100 days worth of music because something that I added. And then every song doesn't have the same purpose for me because I do a lot of driving. Sometimes I might be going from here up to Newcastle and I'm kind of sleepy that day and I'm not really into it. And I might throw on that Playboy Cardi song where he says, what, 137 times. And I love that song. That's all he says is what, over and over again.
Wow.
And I've been like, there's a lot of songs like that I play and like Face, Nice, my brother, they be like,
yo, what is you doing?
Yeah, but sometimes I just want to feel.
I think maybe that's a possible disconnect for me too. To some extent, as a kid, I had moments of will say being poor.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking about how poor I really did grow up. Like 2 days ago.
And poor and possibly traumatic, just some of the situations I was in where there was like days and weeks of like not being able to eat properly and stuff like that. A part of me getting involved with music and hip hop, of course I loved it, but you know, I loved it first, and then I found out that you could make money and possibly get rich from it.
Me too.
And then that, I swan dove into it, where the whole idea, the whole concept of it eventually became a chase for money, because to me, I was stuck in that instant gratification of, you know, making horrible decisions, and I want the scratch off lottery ticket. Like, so, you know, that's probably most of the reason why most of my music ain't registered, because I ain't understand the concept of collect a little bit of money over time, you know.
We also are, you got to understand that we're from an era of pre-streaming.
Yeah.
It wasn't, that's another reason I like to make music so much now, because it's so easy.
Yeah.
Like,
you don't feel it's too easy?
But that's cool.
I mean, like, does AI bother you?
Like, in what capacity? Like, as a fully generated AI artist? If that's what you into.
Have you ever made a song like on Suno?
No.
No?
No.
It scared the shit out of me. I
Because
went on
you can
there,
do anything. I know. I'm familiar.
and the idea that I could type in, make this amazing song that's fully mixed and mastered. Anything that I try to make on my own ain't gonna be this.
What's the fun in that?
And
It's the texture, like, that makes music. It's the subtle nuance. It's the mistakes that you hear. Like, it's the stuff in the background. Like, when you listen to like a 3/6 record, and sometimes you can only really enjoy a 3/6 record with headphones. And you hear.
Yeah, true.
And ain't no AI gonna think to do that.
Like, what comes to mind is Tila. Is it Tila?
Shona?
Every night we take a glance.
Oh, table dance.
Table dance. So you know in table dance,
Yes.
the way the drums is on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I know exactly. Because I'm a headphone. I still think the headphones are my favorite medium to enjoy hip hop.
Yeah.
Like, I be in the house with headphones. Sometimes I drive with headphones. Like,
that's crazy.
Like, no, like sometimes, like, you know, if I'm having, it's like a comfort space for me.
Okay.
You know, and like, if, you know, with me spending so much time alone with my job and how I feel really dictating my success with my job, I've learned about myself. Like, I have to be in a good mood. That's why I put myself in such a bubble.
Okay.
You know, but sometimes I just need to put on some headphones for a little bit.
Right.
While I'm driving from house to house.
Right.
And might only be like 3-4 houses, you know?
Yeah.
I'll take them off and go knock and put them right back on, and, you know, weird stuff like that. You know, and everybody got their weird little quirks.
Yeah.
You know, mine is like headphones.
That's dope. I probably, so headphones is my favorite medium to listen to music in, but it freaks me out. It gives me some sort of anxiety because it limits my awareness to what's going on around me.
That's what sometimes that's what I'm searching for, is to kind of close off all me.
Close off from everything.
Yeah, because I'm always so hyper aware of how I'm being viewed when I was. Well, like how I'm being viewed while I'm working or just living.
Right.
Or, you know, and after a while I got kind of, I just want to just.
Right.
Yeah.
I noticed that about you, like contact-wise. There'd be times when, especially in the past, like I hit you, I get a response like a week later. Like very, very meticulous to add to it. Like just kind of,
So,
I don't know if recluse fit, but just kind of like close up.
I have, what I learned is doing this job, and not just doing job, just me personally. Like there was a long time to where I feel like I gave too much of myself when I didn't have to or shouldn't have.
Okay.
And I'm just a little bit more aware and conscious of how I'm feeling and how much energy do I feel like giving out at this moment. And it's never personal. I remember my dad told me something. I was young. I think I was maybe like 19, 20, and I had broke up with this girl. And she said, son, it's pro her, not anti you. Like, this is a decision that was pro her.
Yeah.
It didn't have nothing to do with you. Sometimes people make decisions that's pro them and we take them personal.
Right.
You know, and that's why I try to never do that. Like sometimes there's friends that just might not feel like talking, you know, especially as grown men.
Yeah.
When you're trying to figure it out, you're trying to get together. Sometimes somebody just might not feel like talking. I ain't gonna take that personal because I know I get like that. I know my friends, like my friends get like that.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we just get kind of reclusive.
That's definitely a thing. That's a weird one where I'm similar in the aspect. I'm always open to communication though, but I close myself off to the point where it's almost as if I'm looking around. It's like I don't got no friends no more. It's just me and my wife in the house. Everybody else gone. And there's some people that might get emotional about that. Like, yo, you don't hit me no more. When the last time we talked? And I'm like, bro, we grown. Like,
Yeah,
what you mean?
and there's a certain peace that comes with it. And you know, you got to understand, people give their time as they want. I had to learn that. Like, no one owes me anything, and I don't owe anybody anything.
Right.
Like you're allowed to keep that time yourself, and I think that comes from like also just I've spent so much time alone. You know what I mean? Coming from a guy that like I don't have any kids biologically.
Right.
You know, so like the times that I wasn't in a relationship, a lot of men my age don't know what it's like being alone.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I learned most men have always lived with someone.
Yeah. Shit, I'm one of those dudes.
Like I see there, I've had years and years stints just alone.
Do you feel like it's like healthy? Like it's helped you to maybe appreciate yourself more?
I needed it because I needed to learn me. You know, especially coming up, you know, how and where we came up, the type of economic conditions we learned. And then when you're trying to avidly reprogram your brain, and I don't think people understand the process that it takes to reprogram. When you really assess, like you look at like what you're following on social media, you look at your pages, I had to look at that when I first started doing insurance. Like, what am I following? So I'm like, man, I was looking on Instagram, because this is about, when I first started, was about 10 years ago. I'm looking like, man, this is like a bunch of booty pages or something, man.
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing? Looking on Facebook, this is a bunch of nonsense. So it took me years to really filter what I ingest. Like I carefully, because I don't really watch TV.
Right.
I anything media-wise that I ingest, I purposely ingest. Like I don't have alerts on for social media at all.
Okay.
To where I know if I'm going there, I did it.
Right.
You know, so.
Wow, that's dope.
I have to, because I have to be conscientious of my energy with me being, I know I'm susceptible to how my loved ones feel. That's why I had to shrink my circle, especially away from, you know, some of my street friends.
You mean like almost like a codependency type deal?
No.
Where like their feelings or emotions affect you internally?
I would say part so yes. Because with me not having a lot of family, a lot of my friends become family, which is cool.
Right.
But I think it's more so that like when I love someone, I love somebody for life. It's an intense love.
Yeah.
People don't know that about me. That's why, like, I like to say the fucks I give are very expensive. Because when I care, I really care. I mean, like, to the point of, in the past, sometimes I'd be at the point to my own detriment. So that's what I'm saying, to where, because I wouldn't really say, maybe it's not necessarily codependency, but when I love, and that could be friends, that could be relationships, that could be anything. So I've learned about myself to where I have to really and carefully choose who and what I give my energy to, because I have a tendency to hyper focus,
To protect yourself.
and then and go to the nth degree about stuff, and that's why let me.
That makes sense, and I can see that, and especially I can relate to that. Especially there's moments in like dating in my past and stuff where, of course, women, not all, but some like don't be understanding where it's like, yo, I gotta protect myself. Like in me trying to be with you, I'm going to be this person that is absolutely going to pull some things from me to make me be a different person, put me in a different situation, and I don't like that for myself.
Yeah, it took me a long time to learn that. I know.
Did you ever have therapy?
Yeah.
Is that like a part of bringing you to this person you are right
very
now?
much so. Yeah, I learned a lot in therapy. Like, black men need to go to therapy.
Yeah.
I mean, like Ricky P is like that's one of my, he calls it a Mount Rushmore. A Mount Rushmore 4. Okay. He's definitely one of my Mount Rushmore 4.
Okay.
He said every man should have that, and I agree with him. And there was a point in time to where me and Ricky would like talk every day, but this type of stuff, me and Ricky don't talk about music. It's rare we can talk about music. Mm-hmm. We talk about mental health and trying to be a good man, and social dynamics and veils of existence and things like that me and Ricky talk about.
Right.
And we talked about the whole therapy thing, like our own journeys, and we would get on the phone and like conversate about like what we discovered. And that's why I enjoy his music so much, because a lot of people really ain't, emotionally aware or in tune or astute enough to really get what he be saying. That's why he puts it in the way that he does, so it can be digested.
Right.
So, but like that whole therapy thing, there was points in time I felt like I wasn't loving me with my decision making. And I wanted to know why I had certain cycles that I kept reliving. And there becomes a certain point to where you want to know why. So a lot of stuff I did with like audiobooks and stuff, because I'm real big on that because I drive so much. Mm-hmm. And then I went and got me a therapist. Yeah, right around like a little bit after COVID. Yeah, that was dope.
Nice. Yeah, I had there were some moments I had a therapist, and my therapist was horrible. Not horrible, but I think, did you watch the Carlin episode? You might not have seen that. Carlin Stanton. We talked about
that's my guy, man.
Carlin? Yeah, that's bro. He
Carlin's he's a real good stand-up guy. Like he's a solid, like I've been noticing that you've been like stand-up men. You've been interviewing every single one.
Yeah.
But
so you
proceed.
Like you talk about Mount Rushmore, right? For a man. So Carlin is like literally like in my crew of people that we all like. He one of those for me. But yeah, so we were talking about therapy and the whole concept of for me it was a black man who was gay. Don't really have much to do with it, but he was very like reaffirming like my blackness, and I'm like he just kept telling me, oh, you're the black man and you're so powerful, and this world hates you, and you're in this situation because of XYZ. And to me, I understand that racism is real. I understand that this is the dynamic.
Yeah.
But being a child that's on a borderline of Gen X, we were always taught, at least, my understanding, this is the world. This is
Yeah.
You get the short end of the straw, that just means run harder.
Yep.
And we had this understanding of, you know, it's not fair, but that's just how it is. And then when we went to school, like for me, I was the last one picked, you know, had to sit way in the back of the class, raise my hand, teacher looked past me, they passing out candy, I get the candy I don't want. That went from school, you know, all the way through grade school to work. You know, now you got to work with this old dude in the shop somewhere and he's talking crazy. And
That's part of why I'm in insurance now. Like I couldn't take that no more, especially because, you know, I worked in corporate America all my life.
right.
Still do to an extent, but it's really not like corporate America now. I'm a business owner. But when I was in corporate America, that was, first off, that was like prison to me. Going to the same place every day. I didn't want to do that. I didn't know how I was gonna get out of it. But that was the main thing. Like when me and Sam were making music, like we never were like making music to like, we love music so much. We're like, man, imagine if we could make like $50,000, $70,000 making just enough to live and take care of our families.
Where all you just make music and
that would have been made. We'd have made it to us.
Yeah.
We were never like, because that's how much we loved it. You know, dealing with people at those jobs to where, like, we could have worked overtime together and we hit the parking lot and they like skedaddle, like something's gonna happen to them. Or us meeting up in the doorway and they clutching their pearls. That used to irk my soul. And meeting up in the elevator and people like acting like they're going. That bothered me after a while. And you know, one thing is, I always speak to people with respect.
Right.
That's just how my mother raised me. I never talk crazy to somebody. I will talk crazy, like I will react accordingly. But there's always seemed to be at every job, you know, to be the one lady that she was kind of like the office bully. And she was like that for 10 or 15 years. Me and that lady at every job, I'd have to have it out with her. Like, listen, man, not to pull us up. I don't know who you think you're talking to, but I'm not your man. I'm not your child. I'm none of that. Have you ever heard me speak to you like that? After this moment, you will not speak to me like that again. Are we clear? Thank you very much. Now here's the double-edged sword of that. Now, but it'll always be somebody that'll pull me aside like, man, we've been waiting to say that to her for 15 years. Like, why didn't you?
Yeah.
Also, a lot of times when you're a Black person in corporate America, especially if you're of my stature and my complexion, any sign of emotion or sticking up for yourself is
Viewed as aggressive.
People get afraid or whatnot.
Yeah.
So it try to make you docile.
Yeah.
Corporate America does.
Yeah.
To where you can't even speak, especially as like, just from my experience. I haven't been there in a decade. But it was just always a point in time to where someone thought they could talk to me a certain kind of way, and that's just something that don't fly with me as a human.
So from the way you're explaining it, what I'm hearing is like you don't experience that in your business. And I'm wondering if...
Well, at the current place I'm at now.
Okay, current place.
Yeah, like because I've been a couple places as far as insurance.
Okay.
In my 10-year career, I've been here about 7.
Yeah, I was about to say, so like, and for the audience probably don't know this, but I'm one of your direct, I don't know what it's called, client.
Clients. Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody's my client, CLI in my phone, so I know it's a client calling.
There you go. And now it's been how many years? At least 7, 8.
Yes, you were one of the first people who I knew personally that called me, and I appreciate you for that, because there's two things. One thing I learned is I have way more of like my friends covered than my family. Not to mention, I don't have too much family.
Okay.
I'm not really close with like my family. I'm way more close with my friends than my family. I will say that.
Right.
But, you know, when you're dealing with financial services, especially insurance, there's a certain expertise and know-how and knowledge and skill set that people sometimes may think you may not have. Sometimes, you know.
Right.
And I know a lot of times with people our age, it's something that people our age think about, but it's not going to be on the forefront unless they're either A, financially in the position, or they had something happen and they know.
Yeah.
But even then sometimes, you know, with younger people, I just know because life, my main thing I say to clients, life shows up when it wants.
That, bro, and I don't even mean to definitely don't want to shift to the conversation to that necessarily yet, but like there are absolutely moments in time where you just spent out.
Yeah.
And mentally it makes so much sense. Like I know something could literally happen tomorrow, but what do you do when you can't afford it?
Yeah, because what I've had to learn doing this is people are paying for something that's intangible. So they have to feel it. They have to feel it. Like when I go and sit with somebody, you know, when they're a little bit younger, it's usually somebody personally that knows me.
Yeah.
That's where like my ads really just get the people that are younger. And my main business is driven from leads. You know, like people that are in the older demographic, you know what I mean, that are looking for coverage for several reasons.
Yeah.
You know, I just know that when you're younger, even if you've had something happen in your life, if there's going to be a bill to go, a lot of times, unless you're financially in a place to where bills never get missed and everything's on auto pay and everybody's not like that, that's going to be one of the first things to go.
Bro, I literally, I had to, it's almost like therapy. Like I had to shift and change my whole mind frame and how I view money to where I got to a point to where some things, such as life insurance, put it on auto pay, don't ever pay no attention to it.
Yeah.
But, and that's what I was going to say as far as the younger generation,
that's why, like anybody that I cover that's like my age, I'm not going to, like, I'm going to service you. Like, hey, this is behind you or anything you want me to do, you know, and I will, you know, fix it and do all the things. But I'm not going to go, like, super hard on it, you know.
Right.
I also have learned, like, for my business and my numbers and the metrics I have to keep with the company, if it's something you're not serious about, I ain't going to keep rewriting it either. I had to learn that the hard way.
I get it.
You know, just because I still have metrics and numbers that I have to keep in, and I have to write good business.
Right.
Or the company's not I have to write good business. You know?
You know what? You might as well stay here. We can spin back around and touch on some music stuff. For that, so when you say it's your business, like I know the company that I have that bills me every month is separate. So how does your business, like Coin, right?
Yeah, Cory Insurance Network, yes.
How does Coin interact? Are you like an agent or?
Anybody that sells life insurance, you're an independent contractor.
Okay.
So I'm 1099. You know, there's certain marketing that the company is going to do as far as like getting leads, but you know, I still have to pay for my leads. I have to do like all of my own marketing. I have to do all of my own like visual upkeep. All that stuff is up to me. So I'm basically, when you sell life insurance, you are a liaison between the person and the company.
Is it just one specific company you deal with or multiple?
At this juncture, yes. Okay. I'm a captive agent, which is to where I deal with something very specific. Like I sell funeral insurance, final expense.
Right.
That's what my particular company specializes in.
Okay.
Now, I've done different insurance ventures to where I've sold different types of products. That's something I want to get into later. Is like a lot of times when people, I can't say like there isn't really no, I can't say like there's like a bad insurance product. People are just misinformed about what your product is for.
Right.
Like sometimes I see online, you know, there'll be like these agents try to push term over whole life or whole life over term. No, there's specific places that
For two
specific
different
products have in your life.
Right.
Like that's what I'm trying to do now with a lot of my online stuff. Is like people need educated on that, especially in our community, because people don't even really know like the difference between not necessarily just term and whole life or an IUL on term or you know whole life and final expense or any of that stuff. Or just, you know, I go to a lot of homes and all they got is an accidental they got from the bank and they think they straight. And a lot of my job is making sure people understand what my product is.
Right.
Because the type of product I have is for an educated consumer that I understand, like you. Like I need to make sure that I have burial insurance to take care of this immediately. Once I explain the difference, and then I'll also have my life insurance, because life insurance, I say, is for the living to continue on living.
Right.
When you're talking about like your whole life and your term and your stuff like that.
Yeah, and I will go as far to say, like, when I got my insurance from you, like you came over to the crib, sat with me in my living room, very thorough, explain in detail how it worked, explain in contrast, you know, the insurance that I'm selling is this, insurance that you might get from here is that.
Do this.
This is the difference between the two, and gave me the decision of, you know, how you want to do it.
I want people to make an educated decision so you know exactly what you're doing.
Right.
Like that's the biggest thing for me. Like there's something I've been doing for years is I'll do group presentations in high rises. It's not necessarily to sell. It's for me to educate the seniors on insurance, because sometimes they really don't know all the facets of everything that's going to happen or that they need to button up on when they die.
And that, if I remember correctly, the thing that you told me about the payout, where like they have to go through, a lot of companies have to go through like this long process before they pay out.
There's a different, because like we're one of the few places, like, you know, you usually got you ever remember The Incredibles? I don't know if you've ever seen the cartoon The Incredibles.
Cartoon movie, yeah.
And remember, it was the very first one, and Mr. Incredible was talking to that old lady. It was the very beginning, and he started whispering to her, like, I could really do this. There's for like a lot of insurance companies, there's a department to where when you pass away, you know, after that claims department, they're going to come through stuff. They're going to look. That's why usually it takes, you know, when you're talking, like even outside of a contestability period, which is like 2 years, it takes a lot of companies a couple weeks to a couple months to pay out, you know, because they're looking for a reason
to not.
A lot of times, I wouldn't necessarily say that, but you know, they're just doing their due diligence.
It's a business, so
exactly. You know, it's just with my particular company and product is something completely different. That's why I have to let people know, like, no, this is for the cremation or burial or anything that will be tied to that. You're going to need to have taken care of immediately.
Right.
Because a lot of places, it may be a couple weeks, might be a couple months. I know a lot of people say, I got coverage through work, right? Yeah. When my mom passed away, I didn't get that work money for a year from her work policy.
And that's basically, like, to my understanding, the way I used to think about insurance and the way probably most people would think about insurance is whenever a person passes away, family members, whoever the beneficiary is, I get this big check, whether it's, you know, $5,000 up to $100,000 or whatever else. That is for the living.
Life insurance, like we're talking about like term policies, and we're going to return to premium terms later. Yeah. So that's like mortgage protection and stuff like that. I used to sell those a couple years ago. But when we're talking about, you know, just regular whole life, term, something that might be like 50,000, might be 100,000, might be 35,000, 40,000. Life insurance is for the living to continue on living.
Exactly.
That's not necessarily to take care of your funeral or your cremation. That's the reason why those policies are going to be like in bigger amounts, as far as like death benefit.
Yeah.
And they're going to take a little bit longer to pay out because due to the amount of companies really going to cover their ass. They're going to look, say, okay, they put this on the application, they put this on the application. And also another thing too, the more questions a company's going to ask on the application is going to affect the rate. Because an insurance company is always assessing risk.
Right.
So the more questions they ask and the more risk factors they can ascertain, the more different things that they can have to, like, okay, we'll get a different rate, or we offer a cheaper rate because we asked way more questions. Okay. That's why when you're talking about, let's say, people a lot of times they say, I want $1 million policy. I want a $500,000 policy. I'm not saying you can't get that. That's fine. But understand that when you're talking about a policy that big, you're talking about build charts. Like, how heavy are you? What's your BMI?
Yeah.
A lot of insurance companies are talking about that. What's your BMI? When you're talking about $1 million, what's your credit?
Yeah, I went.
There's like there's a lot more invasive. Well, what's your when's the last time you had a physical? Are you on any type of drugs? Like as far as like high blood pressure, cholesterol, like all those different factors, to where every single question that they ask is going to affect the rate in some sort of way.
I tried to get. I can't remember if it was for whole life or term, but I had like a financial advisor. They were trying to set me up with one of these insurances. And I had a lady that had to come to my house, take my blood.
Yeah.
And, I had to fill out this form. I had to give them, I forgot what it's called, but basically they were able to go to check out my medical records, contact my doctor. After all of that, I ended up not getting a policy for some stupid medical reason.
It could be anything, because, we're a little bit bigger guys.
Yeah.
So we won't fit the bill chart for some insurance companies.
Yeah.
And, we're in reasonably good health.
Exactly.
I could pick up and jog them out.
Yeah.
We're in like reasonably good health. A lot of times they're looking at like your bill chart as far as like height, weight, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it'd just be a misconception of what costs what, because people just see these commercials, they see these ads, people hear these reels talking about the infinite banking concept and starting your own bank, and then they think like, oh, this is just something that the everyday person does. Or understand, like when you're talking about a term policy, a term policy is going to last for like a very specific amount of time. And we're not talking about like return of premium. Just a regular term policy is going to be 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, something like that. To where it's going to be a much bigger face value. You might have 250,000, might have 500,000, might have 100,000, something like that.
Right.
To where term policies, I say, like those types of, when you're talking about like passing on generational wealth in case something happens to you, that's something that you want to have. If you're younger and you have kids, you want to have a term policy, of course. If you just purchased a home, you want to have a term policy protecting that home in case something happens to you so your wife can still pay off the home.
Right.
So let's say I just got this home, this 30-year mortgage. The smart thing that you would do is I'm going to get this 30-year term for the amount of my home in case something happens to me. And then some people will have like a return and premium term to where at the end of it, they just put all that money towards the house, then they can pay off their home loan faster.
Do you, if you ever refinance, would you, extend that term policy or whatever?
See, I'm not exactly sure. I sold return and premium term, like mortgage protection, maybe for close to a year, maybe.
Okay.
That wasn't really my favorite medium of selling. You get like younger homeowner people that just purchase their home, stuff like that, to where like it's a term product, but at the end of it, you get back all your premiums. And a lot of people use that particular medium to like pay off their mortgage faster.
Right.
That's
Is that still a thing? Like you can buy that type of thing?
Or return a premium term?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mortgage protection.
Huh.
Yeah. That's what I did that. That was probably like the second venture I did was doing that.
Write that down for myself. I'll look into that.
Yeah.
Mortgage protection.
Yeah. Yeah, so return a premium term. You know, listen, there aren't any bad products, really. Just understanding what your product is, what it's for,
Right.
how it's going to pay out, what's the contestability period, which is 2 years for pretty much everywhere. You know, and with us, you know, the particular company that I represent, like, is there going to be anything that they do for your family as far as support services?
Right.
Because, you know, I don't know if you've ever done a funeral, but, you know, it's a lot of decisions to be made in a particular amount of time to where you're not going to be in your right decision-making frame of mind.
Yeah, and the one that I had to like really be involved with was an aunt of mine where my cousin, her son, like he's kind of out of it. My sister, she's kind of out of it. Like everybody's out of it.
Yeah.
I'm the one that's maintaining, even though I'm affected. But it's like, okay, because you're not as out of it, you the one that got to handle all this.
That's what happens. You know, a lot of times, you know, with what I do when we're going through those particular like funeral plans that I do with them after the coverage, because you know a lot of we do the protection, then we do the planning as well. So you know when we're
wait, that's the one I bought.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that, but that's what's up.
Yeah, you know, because once I talked about that, you was like, I'll let you know if I want to do all that, because a lot of my younger folks, they don't. And also, it's something that you could do on your own. It's like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I have a copy of mine in my presentation folder, just so people can see like how quick it is. And also, even if you don't do that, our companies still want to do all that same stuff for your family, as if you did. Yeah.
That's dope. That's serious. Okay, so there's a whole lot more that ties into being an insurance salesman, and a lot of it is relevant. Just life. I feel like there's a ton of life lessons. There's a lot that relates to hip hop, as we talked about on the phone earlier. I want to touch on a little bit more hip hop. That way we can kind of bridge the gap between the two.
Yeah.
And in a sense, I know you probably seen my post where I was like, it's kind of turned into a Pittsburgh Drake champs or something like that. I want to dive into the story of Cory and JSP, of, I guess, the origin story, if you want to dive deeper into that.
Well, we, like I was saying, originally started, you know, high school, Shinley.
Right.
You know, we did a talent show, stuff like that. Me and Sam and Sharon. And then we had a house together, Sam and Huggy, on the north side. And that was kind of like one of our first spots.
In high school?
This was right after.
Okay.
This was like directly after. So we were like 18. And we had like a little studio set up in there. And then a lot of people used to stop by too. You know, like, you know, I know Shaw King used to stop by. I know Nabri stopped by a couple of times, you know, I mean, people like that. And that was really like the foundations of whatnot. At that time, we kind of dispersed after that. We were there for like a year and a half. We threw like some crazy, like epic parties, like Project X type stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, like legendary, like Northside party. It was right up on Perrysville, like the corner of like Perrysville and Marshall. We like had these like epic type parties. So, but we were kind of dispersed. You know, we're getting older. At that time, Huggy and Sharon end up doing their own thing with the hands down thing. So they end up doing their own thing. Me and Sam, that's when we started doing the Justuce Street Poets thing. Just me and him. And kicking rhymes, doing mixtapes, paying for photo shoots, things like that. After that, we ended up running into Brandon from Shenley. Light-skinned guy, he had the long, thick braids. And yeah, and then he had the self-made entertainment thing going on. Him and Sino down in Lawrenceville. And you know, I was always like really close with like people from Lawrenceville and stuff like that. My middle school was down there, cool with people from high school from down there. John Filbert, they're one of the original members of Just Us. He was, he's from Lawrenceville. You know what I mean? He ended up going to jail though. So we end up joining Self-Made Entertainment. Self-Made Entertainment was maybe 2-3 doors down from the first ID Labs.
Okay.
In Lawrenceville.
Okay.
So we had a studio down there, and then the ID Labs was 3 doors down.
That was up past the
right in Lawrenceville.
Past that car lot. I used to walk past. Right, they had a BMW 740.
Right on that corner. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm down there. That's when I really was like honing my skills to learn how to write solo songs. Because all my songs prior to that, except for maybe 1 or 2, was me and Sam. You know, so Self-Made Entertainment, we put out a couple projects that we put out one that was actually printed and whatnot, bottom dollar. We had Ambition, that sang with Pretty Ricky. He was real cool with the guys from Self-Made.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So we had a song with him on there, and we had a...
What year was this?
This had to be maybe 04.
Okay.
04. Maybe a little earlier. So we're doing like a lot of parties down there. That's around the time we made the City Paper. You know, we were like one of the first hip hop acts to make the City Paper.
Yeah.
And full page spread and everything. So I was really proud of that.
I feel like this was around the time when I came back. Was Scorching Hot thing at that time?
A little bit. This is a little bit after Scorching Hot. Let's say that's Scorching Hot. I would like to say that Scorching Hot double disc, Scorching Hot, struck fear in the heart of every local MC.
Yes.
Just the way it was put together, the production,
you know,
the rhymes. Like, I have songs right now on my phone from that Scorching Hot. I think, that's for me personally, top 5 project.
I gotta get Brian Bad News on here. I don't know how much of it he'll want to talk about, but he actually married me and my wife.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, that's
dope.
my bro.
That's dope.
But yeah, Scorching Hot was...
Man, I I forget where I was working. I think I was working at National City Bank, I think. I was living on Bentley Drive in the projects.
Okay.
And when I got this thing, and it was a double disc, and one's yellow, one red, and it's real, and the sound quality, and that was such a fire project. That was one of mine. That's top 5 for me. Yeah.
All right, so a little bit after Scorching Hot.
All right. So a little bit after Scorching Hot, you know, we were doing the Self-Made thing. We put out the projects with them.
Okay.
Self-Made is disbanded for personal reasons. You know, that was something that was going on because it was Sino and his cousin that was running that. Sino still wanted to make music. So that's when me and Sino linked up, started talking about it, and he knew like I orchestrate projects and songs and things like that. And he said, this around the time I'm living down Manchester, and he comes to me and, you know, I'm just a broke rapper, you know, working a regular job, writing thousands of rhymes, and he's like, man, you ain't got no laptop? I said, no. He said, well, how you feel about working with me on a trap project? You know, like executive producing that, putting that together. I said, I could do it. I could do that. I said, you got some trap beats?
Because naturally,
and he said, I could work on that. And he said, you work on this project with me, I'll buy you a laptop. You know, because he was, out doing this thing.
That almost sounds like the How High Red and Meth.
So Cena was like, I was like, for real? He's like, yeah, man. Took me right then and there out to Best Buy and caught me a laptop so I could start putting stuff together.
Right.
Then that's how he introduces me to Ricky P. And the thing, here's why Ricky P, one of the reasons Ricky P messed with me so tough. Me and Ricky P met up, we went into his basement. You know what I mean? Cold in the winter, like no heat. I think Ricky P had like 25 beats. I think Cena gave me like a stack or something, the cop beats, I think. And I'm sitting there listening to these beats. I mean, this is real. I don't think like Ricky P knew he was dope, but I don't think people would really confirmed it for him. Cause he still get like a lot of hate because he's such a outspoken person. Right. And I looked over to him, I said, man, this is probably how Gucci felt when he met Zaytoven. And we copped 20 of his first, like 25 he ever made. And like Time is Money was on there. You know what I mean? A couple of the songs from like The Future Is Now. So this is around that time. And that's one of the reasons why like Ricky P really appreciates me, because I recognize his greatness and I openly spoke about it every chance I got, regardless of who didn't like me saying so in the city. Right. Because I got an ear. Right. And I was like, oh, there's something special about this man.
And I remember, not saying I remember that exact moment, but for as long as I can remember, you have been shouting from the rooftops and the mountaintops Ricky P's name.
He got a diamond plaque. Yeah. Don't forget, that's the dude on See You Again. He recorded See You Again with Wiz and was that Charlie Puth, whatever. That guy.
But this is way before that.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it was just my personal feelings. It wasn't down to nothing else. I have an eclectic ear. I'm one of I feel the few people that listen to and have performed everywhere. From the Shadow Lounge to Kansas City with the strippers to the August Wilson Center to Mr. Smalls.
All over.
Yeah, so, and these are all different types of music I would have to have for them types of crowds.
Right.
So.
How do we get to, so we got the introduction to Ricky P.
Yeah,
Basement.
So after that, that's when we really started to come together and do the JSP thing kind of seriously, like as a new entity.
Is that around the time I can think of KMK?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Flyer or album cover, and it was like
the Terminator. That one, which I still feel is one of the best covers I think to come out of Pittsburgh. Yeah, that's when we did that project.
Yeah. Actually, I got more than that. I got that. Monongah Halo Monster, was that?
After that. That was a little bit after
I got that one too.
That was a little bit after that. And then, yeah, it was funny around that time with the Future Is Now. Because that's when Pittsburgh hip hop was really clicky. Because that was around the time you had Rep, PGH, hip hop.
Yeah.
And, they had their, the people that they kind of, they favorite and whatnot.
Yeah, that was the thing.
And, if I, I'm an outspoken person, And it was kind of clicky around then. And some of the stuff, if I was like, that's whack.
Yeah.
If I think something's whack, some people might think I'm whack. I won't make you come prove it. That's the difference with me. But I'm like, well, a lot of times people don't like when
and I've been refraining from like, we'll call this publicly, giving my opinion about a lot of things.
I stopped.
Yeah. I guess you could say I stopped, but I still do it like in the privacy of my own home. But on the podcast, for me, like there's certain people that, you know, when their name's brought up, I won't even say nothing. Like, you know what? In my own mind, maybe after the cameras go out, like, look, I don't really fuck with that guy. But there's just certain things that's like, certain shit just sucks.
Yeah.
And
I don't
it's
care.
okay.
Yeah. And it's fine. Even if some music is subjective.
Yes.
It's personal. I can't say what you're going to like or what's going to get you there. It's personal.
So, you know what Jeff told me? DJ Chevy, you know what he told me? He said there's the subjective opinion and then there's an objective truth of where you can say technically, like objectively, there's things about how someone put together a song or what they did that's like not good.
Yeah.
But my pushback to that was sometimes it takes for you to color outside those lines.
Hip hop is a mansion, I always say. And there's different rooms in it. And there's different parties and kickbacks that go on in every room. Sometimes there's undiscovered rooms. Like I feel BB Guns found an undiscovered room in a hip hop mansion. Like there's undiscovered rooms in a hip hop mansion too. I try to look for those rooms. And just because you don't necessarily understand them, or they might not fit into your construct of what you feel hip hop is, or what you like, doesn't mean you can't. What they say, you can't yuck somebody's yum.
I don't like when all the cool kids are packed into this one room, and while everybody is trying to find their own corner of that mansion, someone comes in and, oh yeah, that room is packed to where nobody can even get in the door. I want to go in that room too.
See, that's the thing about me and my friends. We've never went in that room. We went somewhere else and we made our own completely live, outrageously fun entity. Yeah. Because like I was saying, we're always too street for this or too hip hop for this. Yeah. And we're just making music.
You know what? We could get back on track after this, but it keeps popping up in my mind. I don't know how relevant to you this might be, but I keep going back to the Pittsburgh version of Run the Jewels.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like,
yeah, I could really see that because that's like, if I ever had a dream collab, it would be Killer Mike and David Banner. Just me personally. Yeah. Like Killer Mike and David Banner would be like if I had a dream collab, and I've always said that.
Just the energy, not even necessarily
there's a certain
music.
energy, and there's a certain playfulness that we have at times, and we try to be very exquisite and elusive and unpredictable with the wordplay. Yeah, like we love words. Yeah, and a lot of times, and like when I write a rap, I'm looking for a word that's never been rapped before. A lot of times.
Look, I'm gonna use this to. No offense on this, you've been my guy since high school, and I've been itching. Like, come on, get to the part. My favorite JSP member. How did Niceberg get included? And
Niceberg.
And I don't know if you know this, bro. If he happened to see this, tell him to see. As a matter of fact, I'll text him. See this? Look, bro. You are officially. I'm letting it know. Be known here publicly. You are my favorite JSP member.
Nice is my favorite JSP member. Listen, Nice. My cousin. Nice. There was many intersections of him meeting us. Like there was a bar they used to kick it at downtown, and you know I don't drink, but they used to be down there. It used to be Groove, which was one of our early members. He used to produce for us. My brother used to be down there sometimes. Face, because Face is a drinker, and Nice and whatnot. They'd be down there drinking and stuff. And then I met Nice the one time down there, and I was like, okay, all right, cool. And then my cousin, rest in peace, Mike the barber, Mr. Crispy. He was my barber at the time, and he was also Nice's barber. And he kept bringing up this guy Nice to me. I won't say I don't have an arrogance. I just have a confidence when it comes to MCing. I'm like, all right, that's fine. You know what I mean?
I can relate.
Yeah, like whatever, that's whatever. And then me and Nice ended up meeting, and I was like, yo, who's the dopest MC to you? He said, me. And I remember he said before he even met us, and this is one of the most compliments, gave me goosebumps to think about it. He said, man, I didn't even meet y'all yet. And he said, I heard y'all's mixtape, No Just Us, No Peace. And it was the green and blue one. And he said, when I heard that, he said, that's who I want to be rapping with. Wow. And I was like, you know what I mean? And that was one of the biggest compliments anybody had ever paid to me. Because there's certain stuff like Nice, like taught me over these years. Yeah. You know what I mean? But so there's something that Faye says I do. He calls it taking people to the dojo. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you want to rap? All right, cool. Come down to my crib. Yeah. And, because I'll sit there for 8 hours straight. I'm writing. When I get tired of a beat, put something else on. Get tired of that.
Just keep going.
Yep. 8 hours straight. Then go to work.
Wow.
And I did it. That's because I had to sacrifice something because I'm not naturally as good as my friends.
I get it.
You know what I mean? I had to do a lot more.
So, pause right there. Let's hold this. Nice in the dojo.
That's what I'm going to. Okay.
Your writing process, and I remember you saying how, the beat is like your canvas.
Yeah.
Right? As you're writing, how artistic do you get into that? Like that 8-hour process when you write in the verses? Like, is the writing aspect an art form to you?
Very much so, because it's rare I rap just to rap without like a concept or a direction or some sort of, like I might not even necessarily explain it because I feel like all art doesn't need to be explained. Just whoever gets it, gets it. Right. But yeah, every piece that I create as far as like a song, it has a meaning to it. Every EP or project has like a meaning to it. Yeah. Like let's take Swing Heavens, for instance.
Okay.
What I've noticed is ever since I've ever created music, like God and spirituality is like an underlying thing. But it's kind of like a come as you are type thing when I do my God hop type thing. Mm-hmm. So when I was when I set out to do Swing Heavens, I was like, okay, I'm at this age to where there's just only certain stuff I want to rap about. And I know that God is going to be some sort of a theme in most of the stuff I'm going to do. So I started to do this project around the time I thought my father was going to die. Okay? So I'm like, this is what's going on in my head. So that's why like there's different samples of my father giving different speeches from like his NA meetings and stuff like that. And it all ties together. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna, cause I thought my father was gonna pass because what was it, liver? Kidney. He needed a kidney, right? So I start crafting this project, not in memoriam, but I just wanted him to be a piece of it and hopefully get some of it done in case he passed. Right. 'Cause that's the way it was looking to me. Because there was a point in time where like I thought I was going to be able to give him my kidney, but then they said no because of my BMI. And then I went to a real bad depression about that. And then, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna, I don't really know how to pray. So I started like these songs, like these are my offerings to God. That's why the project doesn't really get promoted.
Right.
Like it's there, you can go listen to it and stuff. But I was like, man, this ain't, I was like, what I'm doing, this ain't ain't no Christian rap or nothing like that. This is it's that God hop. It just came out of my mouth one day. It's that God hop. This is that place where you come to worship, come as you are.
I get it.
How I approached me creating the songs. Because I'm going to cuss, I'm going to talk about, but God is a come as you are type of thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I'm creating these songs, and then one day I'm at my girl's family reunion, but I'm listening to stuff in my headphones. And then I was like, man, I'm gonna look up, see if I can find some of my dad's speeches. And then I found this one speech of my father's, and it's titled, The Gift of Desperation. And I was like, I got my direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now I know what God hop means. This is the gift of desperation that's healing our people. Just for, you know what I mean?
Right.
This is just my thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm finding different parts and I'm putting them in different songs and I'm creating this project. And I got towards the end of creating it. And I remember I called Paul, the guy that I work with, Paul Chambers. And like I love that man to death. Love that man to life. And I was just crying my eyes out because I was just so depressed. And I didn't talk to nobody. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, I felt, you know how there's just some people, I don't know why I could talk to you.
Yeah.
And sometimes I would put that on Paul. Mm-hmm. And I called him like middle of like 5 o'clock in the morning, just crying my eyes out. And just about how I felt so bad about it. And maybe like a week or two later, my dad texted me in the morning, said, I'm on my way to get my transplant. He was like 2 years down the list.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to go get my transplant, son. I'll text you when I come out. And that let me know a few things, that you always got to put in God's hands. It's way bigger than what you think or what you know or how. You don't know what plan God got.
Wait, hold up. I'm sure you've made this connection before, but literally in my head, I'm like, they gave your mom how long, and she lived the extra 6 years, you said? Mm-hmm. And then your dad wasn't supposed to get one for 2 years, but he got one that much sooner? That seemed like there's a lot at work there.
Yeah.
On God's time,
always.
Like you said.
It's not up to us.
Yeah.
And and then I'm sitting there with this project, and it was even that much more special to me. And I did maybe like one more song. And I was like, I need one more song. And that was The God Ain't Going Out of Business. Mm. And I was like, whoa, this is like nice. I was like, this sounds like old JSP.
Yeah.
But I said, hey Sam, you wanna do a verse on this? I think he wrote it in like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something crazy. That's just how fast he writes.
Yeah.
And then I had it done. And then I was like, I just see what happened when I gave this little offering to God. And that's why, like, I usually figure, like, I always talk about Swing Kevin. That's just me because I have a part of me that just has to create music. And I never promoted it. I never, you know what I mean? I got tutelage from Ricky to get it to sound as good as I could. I don't even, like my dad's on there. Nexus is on there. And Face is on there.
Wow, that's crazy.
And then there's a song that I never put out. The only song I ever talked about my mom dying. And called Dear Lord. Like I cried recording 2 songs in my entire life. God Ain't Going Out of Business. I cried recording that and like all by myself downstairs recording that. And Dear Lord. And Dear Lord, you know, I always felt about putting stuff that's too personal, so I never put it out. And you remember Soul Dean? Gordon A.G.?
Why does that sound familiar?
He went to high school with us. He passed away. He used to sing. He was always in the plays. He played the Cowardly Lion.
That sounds really familiar.
Yeah, Gordon A.G. It was the, we did 2 songs with Soul Dean that we had. And he passed away a little while ago. I don't know how, but he passed away a little bit ago. So, and I put that on there.
Okay.
You know what I mean, to close it out. It was just like quick 8 songs, you know.
Yeah.
All themed around that. But, you know, considering like I grew up in a multi-denominational home and stuff, I don't really like have a set way of praying. So me making these songs is kind of my way of doing that.
Right.
That's why that's why at this juncture, I like to paint because I like to paint.
Does your dad calling you and saying, I'm on my way to get my transplant, does that feel like a confirmation? Like a pat on the back, so to say? Like from God?
God be meeting me 70-30. Yes. Yes. Definitely.
I get that. And I could definitely relate to it. Like, it's weird sometimes. My number one confirmation that I'm doing something right is literally my wife.
Yeah.
Like, me having this woman specifically and what she gives me. I try to tell her that as often as I can. Of course, she's like, she probably will be mad when she watches, but she do the same thing to me. And she like, almost like arrogant when she tells me, like, I keep telling you I'm God's favorite. But it's a concept of like, as a grown man, grown black man, however you want to put it, when you feel like maybe I'm not necessarily on the perfect path, but I know I got to be doing something right. And you have this energy of like, how can I do better? How can I be better?
Yeah.
Every day for me, I wake up in the morning and I think, how can I be a better father for my kids? How can I, and it's not about how can I make more money. It's not about how can I get rich off of music.
Yeah.
Nothing
be
like
a better
that.
person.
How do I be a better person? How do I teach more people, help more people?
Yeah.
How do I give back more? And for a while, you know, for me, I would get in conversations with, you know, different religious people, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you ain't going to church, then, you know, you ain't this and that. And you ain't doing this and you ain't doing that. You ain't praying and you don't know this in the Bible, then, yeah, it don't fit. Until, you know, my wife comes along and it's like, y'all think like I'm not on the right page, but God is talking to me right now. You know what I mean?
I remember I went and asked Samuel, like, man, why do I keep going through this in my relationships? Because Sam's my best friend since I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to seek counsel about Sam about certain stuff. You know what I mean? Because I'm really close friends with him and his wife. Like, they're 2 of my favorite people on earth. You know what I mean? Like, I eat dinner over there every Sunday. You know.
Oh, that's dope.
And I was like, yo, Sam, why do I keep doing this in my relationships? And he looked at me and said, have you ever thought to see if she comes from a place of love? And I was like, oh, that's dope. And I was like, yo, Sam, why do I keep doing this in my relationships? And he looked at me and said, have you ever thought to see if she comes from a place of love? And I was like, oh, that's dope. And I was like, yo, Sam, why do I keep doing this in my relationships? And he looked at me and said, have you ever thought to see if she comes from a place of love? Something it never dawned on me. You know, I'm dating people that, you know, who like me and who I'm sexually attracted to and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he said, this is the main thing he said, have you vetted if she comes from a place of love?
Mm-hmm.
And have you vetted how her and her dealings are with her and her family?
Yeah.
And those two things, I've never done until now.
Yeah.
You know, to where like I actually like took the time to date somebody.
Yeah.
And take my time even against their will at some times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I knew, like, you know.
Bro, I hear it still to this day, my wife complaining because I waited so long to propose to her.
Yeah, like this is all, you know, because when I first started dealing with Nexus, it was at a point in time to where I didn't know if I'd ever do another relationship again. Just because I kind of lost that faith in people from like my last situation.
Right.
And when me and her started dating, I was completely, I don't think she was used to somebody being as honest as I am. And that kind of took her back. I said, I'm gonna need approximately a good 18 months of us dating for me to decide. You know, like, I'm not gonna lead you on, I'm not gonna string you along or nothing like that.
Right.
And I don't think she was used to somebody being that upfront and being that honest as far as like a time frame.
Right.
You know? And yeah. It's a difference. What I learned is someone loving you and someone caring for you are two completely different things.
That part.
Because people can love you. I've had plenty of women love me, or sometimes I feel love the idea of me. Not necessarily willing to deal with what it would really be like to be with me. It's just the idea of what they think it might be like.
You know how I describe it? It's like my wife now loves who I am to where I can be me in my skin and comfortable.
Yes.
And everyone that I tried to date before her, it's like they love this idea of what I could be, my potential through their eyes.
Yeah,
where
I agree.
Like my wife is my number one cheerleader in any and everything. She doesn't always agree with everything.
Ain't supposed to.
Exactly. But
It's supposed to be a compass.
Exactly. But there's always, even when she disagrees, it's always from a place of love.
Yeah. I would, Ricky P's always making sure like I give myself credit. Like, you did that. Like anytime, because I give people a lot of credit for like what has happened with me. Like, no, you did that. It wouldn't matter who you was going that trajectory. Yeah. That's why I love him for that. But a lot of this business of final expense is how peaceful is home.
That part.
This is the first time in my adult life that I've had a sanctuary of peace.
Beautiful thing, ain't it?
And to where like, cause I already got to deal with enough at work, you know, and I sell funeral insurance, you know. Yeah, of course I sell final expense, but the unglamorous name is I sell funeral insurance and funeral plans. And
could you
not glamorous?
Could you please, I don't even want to speak on this. From your position, speak on the importance of being a grown man with a sanctuary of peace at home.
Man, a lot of times, you know, you see the reels and the stuff on social media, and they're talking about men wanting respect and peace. But that really be sometimes when you're dealing with a man that's trying to come out of a shell of what he was. Like he's trying to evolve into something greater than he maybe has ever imagined or thought he could be. And he's trying to undo all the stuff that he learned. Because it takes a while to even know that your thinking is skewed and you got this parallax view of reality.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you're trying to become financially literate, because these are conversations that we didn't have at the dinner table. A lot of times that we thought the only people that were truly successful were narcotics dealers in our neighborhood. And that's the only true sign of like any type of wealth that we may have, what we thought was wealth or money we may have seen.
Right.
Sometimes you need a space of quiet and leave me alone to my thoughts for a second so I could get this together, so I can get a plan together.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm trying to raise you one here. The trust to allow you to execute your plan.
Yes. Because it takes a lot of trust, because we can't act like, because one thing people act like single mothers create themselves.
Yeah.
Of course, women need to be held accountable for their decisions, yes. But sometimes women get led down a dark alley. When they told them it's going to lead them to a green pasture. We can't deny that doesn't happen to some women.
Right.
Just like some men get in some situations thinking that they have a helpmate and a comrade in a place of sanctuary, I'm gonna call it, to where you could be you, and it don't be that at all.
Right.
It goes both ways, Right. So just to be able to be fortunate enough to where I can operate and not have to go through, the different labeling or disrespect or just the different BS that other people have brought to me while I've been on this mission.
Right.
Because one thing about final expense, one thing I've seen in this business, Kalaj, is relationships change a lot. And because I've been doing this so long, a lot. And because this business they always say this business exposes who you are. It's just going to make you more of who you are. And that's what I'm most grateful for, is to be in a place of peace to where I can think without judgment, and you're going to trust my judgment. Because sometimes like that, you can't undermine. You can't say you trust me, then undermine my movements.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying just blindly follow anybody either. That's not what it is either. But I do believe in like if you're going to be with somebody, trust them to lead you without outside interference in your ear.
Yeah.
The moment you let somebody else in your ear, you might as well call that a wrap.
I think the way I described it, I forgot who I was talking to, but it was kind of to the effect of, as a man, we are constantly on protective mode. We are battling fronts on every front outside from, our boss, people that's supposed to be our friend but kind of shady.
Yeah.
The neighbor up the street and down the street, the teachers of your kids at school. Like there's every angle, the police, like every angle, there's people that are potential enemies, potential challenges and issues. The last place that I want to have my armor on is in my own home.
Yes. I agree. Me looking back, because I wouldn't knock anybody I was ever in a relationship with, because I think I've always been in a relationship with like excellent women, like some beautiful women. I might not have grown to where I'm at now.
Yeah,
And also for them too, you know, they might be in different stages of growth, or sometimes just people aren't for you.
Exactly.
You know, and it takes sometimes learning what don't work for you.
That, and sometimes you're brought into each other's life just to help each other improve and move on to a different season.
Yeah, and set each other apart, set each other on a better path. And that's okay too.
Yeah.
You know, you just, I be thankful for anybody that I come across, you know, be it good or bad.
Yeah.
Because, you know, especially at this stage of my life, I'm very like hyper aware of who and what I'm giving my energy to, and what people choose to talk about when they're around me and stuff like that, and just even just how they may think they view me, because I always get a kick out of that, like people's misconception of who they think I am,
right,
or how I operate in my day to day, or my intellect or intelligence level, or how I operate out in the streets, or they may, you know, people try to judge you from Facebook, you know, not even knowing, like, cause everything I would like to say that because all the years I was talking crazy on Facebook was for a reason. It was just to garner attention, because you figure I never said anything, I never talked personally about my life, ever. It's always just garner attention to me, the page, and the music.
Yeah.
You know, once somebody starts asking me something personal, I'm shutting that down. I'm not saying this ain't personal time for me. It never has been.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all of, like, I won't say necessarily antics, they're just marketing ploys. Yeah. I guess I would always say that they were, you know.
That makes sense. Okay, spin it back. Niceberg and the dojo.
Yeah. Yeah, Niceberg was he probably was the only person he was doing that with me, Breeze.
And y'all, so he was writing with you, so that whole 8 hour just...
Yeah, we just...
And he right there.
Yeah, me and Face had a crib together on the north side. Face is going to bed. Face ain't with all that. Face write when he write, you know what I mean? Sometimes we write together, but, you know, me and Face really trade off ideas, but me and Nice would sit there and we would write together, and that's when me and him really got like this cohesiveness in this relationship, where when we would create, it was something completely different than what
you and Face are.
Yeah.
This is the same crib, Perrysville, Marshall?
No, this is way after.
Different crib?
Yeah, this is years and years after. I was living down Manchester at this point. I'm across the street from my brother. Okay. Yeah, I had a crib down there. And then Face ended up living with me for a little bit down there. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I remember
the transition between JSP being just you, Face, and Sino, and then the moment, maybe not the exact moment, but Niceberg was kind of introduced, but it always kind of gave a feel that he was like maybe the Capadonna of the crew. Yeah, because the thing with, with the JSP thing, it was always for everybody to have their own solo thing creatively. You know, when, the group thing would just be, a group thing, an amalgamation of what we was all doing. What I would, the hodgepodge of what I would put together at the time of, the concept and the beats and, but it was always, when Nice came into it, it was always with Nice to have his solo thing. Okay. Like, because we introduced him when we were doing The Future Is Now. Okay. And then, and he just had something to bring, because after I moved from Manchester, we moved to this crib in Hazelwood down below that we called the Rap House. And that's all we did is rap and work. And y'all all stayed together like throughout this process? It was me, Face, Nice ended up staying there when Face moved out with his now wife. Yeah.
And I was always a constant because it was like, it was my crib. I was staying there, and then Face moved out, and Nice ended up being my roommate there. And we just always make music there. I remember when Ricky P became mobile at one point, he came out there and recorded us, and we did a couple of jams. Like, there was a point to where Ricky P was mobile. We did that. But Nice, when it came to production, like Ricky P always held us down. Like after a while, Ricky P was like, man, I got you on whatever you need as far as production. Like if it's something that somebody ain't using, you want to, you got it. Okay. Nice was childhood friends with Info.
Okay.
Now, Info, the main two, like that was like Nice's Ricky P, where they grew up together.
That's the one, didn't you say he's producing for No Limit, was it?
He did stuff for Cash Money.
Cash Money.
Dipset, like he produced Get 'Em Daddy.
Okay.
He produced a lot of stuff.
Right.
I mean, stuff for Juice, man, all types of industry stuff. Busta Rhymes, Wayne, like a lot of stuff. So we got to this crazy fortunate situation to where once a lot of the people like Busta and Wayne and Mac Main and all them passed over to Beats, he would just send us a pack. Like 30 beats. And we got several of them packs. That's why I was always like, I didn't really have to pay for production a lot of times because I was fortunate enough to have friends that had industry quality production that was like, because producers produce. Y'all got beats like we got rhymes.
Yeah.
And y'all got different layers once I got of production to where you might not necessarily get that one folder, because I don't necessarily get into that folder out of Ricky, like the one that when he produced for Sauce Walker and all them, and Wiz, but he'll give me something out of this folder. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then, this folder is sometimes the one that he put on BeatStars. Yeah. But if you don't know a producer, you don't know they operate like that. You think all the beats is, but a lot of them type tier beats I was getting for...
Look, and I hit you up recently to find out if you had the beat. Somehow you mistakenly heard a beat from my A folder. And you was like, yo, what is that? I need that. And I'm like,
I got a thing. To where if I'm listening to a producer, especially from friends with him, I always say no to the first three.
Okay.
Always. Even if they're hard. One, because I just did something I learned with Ricky. I want you to feel slightly disrespected.
Okay.
And then dig into a folder that I shouldn't be hearing.
That might be what happened.
That's what I did. I guarantee. I'm like, now just act like it's nothing, even if it's immaculate.
Yeah.
You gotta, with a producer, I learned sometimes you gotta kind of play poker with them.
I felt like when you was like, yeah, I want that one, because I was like, yeah, this one free too. And I'm pretty sure that was probably it. Like me on my ego shit. Like, listen to this.
Yes. Yep.
And
yo, you ain't reacting? Yep.
Yeah. You snatched it up. Like, all right, give me that. And I just hit you recently. Like, yo, did you use that? You ain't used it.
I stockpile beats. Like, I still got beats from producers. Like, I still got Cobana beats in the tuck. I still got beats from you in the tuck. I got a Black Caesar in the tuck. I got some DJ Huggies in the tuck still. I stockpile beats. Like, I got an H. Remember H from Penn Hills? He did a lot of stuff for the government on that Puffin' on the Perp and all that stuff. Yeah. I still got an H in the tuck.
You better use some joints.
Here's the thing with me and beats. I have to feel it at that moment for that it just has to fit.
I get it.
Like some stuff I'll have forever. And also like the stuff I want to write to kind of changes over time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And like I grow as a writer.
That makes sense.
You go through different evolutions for me personally as a writer.
You know what I really wanted to get into? That gap between running your own business, which is the insurance business, which is sales, and how that connects to the local hip hop community, and not connects, but like relation. Like, let's start with: is there anything that you've learned or are learning that you wish you knew earlier in your rap career that you could apply, that you feel like would have changed your trajectory?
The importance of centralized marketing and promotion.
What do you mean by that?
Taking a product, especially musically, to where I would have made more songs that sound the same, that are geared toward things, so I can garner more of a centralized fan base. So I can then promote to my tribe. And then once you have your tribe already in your corner, then it seems like you'd be able to put them on to like your more experimental, newer type stuff.
So you mean kind of like cultivating your demographic type?
Yeah, more just, I would have took more time on cultivating my cult fan base, because JSP had a cult fan base.
Right.
But I wish I would have taken more time to curating those sects of the cult fan base, like the Cory fans and the Niceberg fans, and the Sino fans and the Lucky Face fans. I wish there would have been more time to cultivate that, maybe.
Makes sense. So one of the difficulties I'm having with this podcast is a multi-niche.
Yeah.
Like, as I explained, interviewing everybody from, it might be a drug dealer on the block that rap, all the way to the CEO of a multi-million-dollar tech company, where those are very different demographics. And the people that want to hear what a CEO of a tech company has to say aren't necessarily the same people that want to hear what a drug dealing rapper has to say.
They have very similar principles, though.
They do.
That's what people might, and anyone that's going to be astute on business, you look for the message, not the messenger.
But that,
as I do, you do.
You're right. And you and I, like, literally, is who, like, we are the demographic of this podcast. Mm-hmm. So I told you Jessica was my partner.
Yeah.
I define, and Freya, you're the Freya the goddess, right?
Yeah, I've seen her one time.
Yeah. So on the team, like, we have our meetings and stuff, I tell them all the time, like, our demographic is literally like the nerds, the middle class nerd that has some street background, maybe blue collar or whatever, grinding, not necessarily got it all, aspiring, but curious, learning.
Yeah, and here's the thing, there's a lot of us. Yeah. I didn't really think that before, but there's a lot of us. Yeah. There's a lot of Black intellectuals that come from where we come from and still have, some sort of like street ties, that quote unquote. I don't really like to look at it like that, but come from an urban background, an urban setting.
Right.
So
it's a decent amount. I feel like sometimes we're kind of hard to find because, and this is just my theory, I honestly believe whether it's some form of neurodivergence, I believe, whether it's ADHD, whether it's on the spectrum, whatever it is, the ability to have high pattern recognition and be able to mask enough to where you're able to watch people in all of these different environments to where you almost become like a chameleon personality and you're able to blend in these different environments. Mm-hmm. And it's so hard to identify because we do it so well. We actually become.
I think every true Pittsburgh artist is a chameleon because we don't really have a sound.
That's relevant.
We don't really have a sound, and we're one of the only regions that we don't really have a sound.
Okay, is there a difference between someone that's just copying and someone that is, I don't know how I want to word this.
Paying homage, kind of? Like to where, to where you're copying something, to where like, oh, this is an homage to this style or this artist.
That's one lane. Okay, so the way that I copy, the way I started, I would listen to a song. Say, let's just say, matter of fact, this is one of the beats that I kind of redid. Peaches and Cream, 112 featuring Lil Zane. When I listened to that beat, instantly I was like, this is dope. And it's so dope that I want to take elements of it. So I replayed it. I found the instrument that sounded similar, replayed it, kind of like learned how to play it, but then played it differently.
Yeah.
And then changed the drums underneath it. And then, change some instruments to where when I'm finished with it, it kind of sounds like maybe it was inspired by that, but it's not the same.
I think hip hop does that all the time.
Right.
I know there, like a lot of times that's why I have so many different types of songs. Because I'm a fan of so much different stuff. I'm like, man, I wonder if I could, or I would like to make something that got that feel.
Also, I think Pittsburgh does have a sound.
Yeah.
My bad to cut you off.
No, I want to. What would you describe it as?
Okay, so I think our sound is. People try to make us Midwest. I don't think we're Midwest.
No.
I like to call us Mid-Eastern America.
Yes, I agree.
And I actually I didn't coin that myself. I got that from his name is Kenny. I forgot what he used to go by, but he had this whole thing, this whole campaign he was trying to do, and he had a major record deal and everything. He's an older dude. I forgot his name, but he called us Middle Eastern America, and I'm like, yeah, that fits. That makes sense. So if you take Pittsburgh's sound, it's like I almost want to go to Homewood, where it's extremely melodic, extremely emotional. It engages your emotions, right? It has elements of almost everything. So there's kind of some Midwest elements. It's Midwest-ish.
And
there's
some forms of
Southern-ish.
cadence, some forms of production, yeah.
Like when you listen to like Rough Chemistry, even Almighty, Rough Side Players, like when you're listening to like the old style of music, it doesn't fit anywhere else.
Yeah.
To the point, I would even go as far as to say Wiz Khalifa's Black and Yellow is almost like an extension of that.
Yeah.
Because when you listen to Black and Yellow, it doesn't sound like anything else.
Yeah, well, I kind of feel like that's Prince of the City too.
Yeah.
That has I guess that's
when you listen to Germ and E-Dan, it's the same feel. It's very instrument heavy. Mm-hmm. This
very bass heavy.
Very bass heavy.
Synth heavy, yeah.
Synth heavy, piano, strings.
Yeah.
Where the music itself is almost like a symphony, like a composition, but over banging beats.
Yeah.
Where that's not New York. That's not down south. That's not West Coast. That's not even necessarily Midwest.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because I always thought of how just from traveling through the different arenas of Pittsburgh hip hop, from, to the clubby, from when it was down Sin. I remember they used to have the after hours down Sin. And back when the Duquesne boys would get their stuff played and stuff like that. And, to the Shadow Lounge, to like Commonwealth Family, just how different those types of music sounded to me.
Yeah.
That's why I felt like when you look at, like I used to always think like Mac Miller.
Yeah.
Is a true chameleon.
Yes.
Because he could be on whatever. I always look at myself like a true chameleon to where like there's no telling what type of song. Who else would be like that? K-Pound.
Yeah.
K-Pound's like a true chameleon to where it don't matter what the song is about.
Yeah.
Dice.
Yeah.
Dice is a true chameleon.
Yeah.
To where like it don't matter what the subject matter is or what it's about, he can get on that thing.
Right.
You know, that's why I always felt like, you know, the best of the best in Pittsburgh, where it could kind of move. It's like kind of like your genre-less MCs.
Yeah, that's always been a thing in mine. Almost like a like on a national level, I would say like a Ludacris.
Or like the Game.
Game
Game is a true chameleon. It all depends on who he on the song with, what he gonna sound like.
Definitely. So maybe, I guess, dive a little bit more into the sales aspect. So like code switching, for example.
Yeah.
That's one example of the way I see it, like a mindset, I guess, like something that probably most of the time it just happens without even thinking. Like me, I'm starting to notice just on this podcast, I have a different tone and a different way I talk to people depending on who my guest is, right?
It's called matching energy.
Matching energy.
Yeah, you have to mirror somebody's energy to make them comfortable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When I see that and hear that, I see it in other people and then I see myself do it. I feel like it's something that we lack, like in the urban community, especially.
Yeah, because, you know, sometimes we think it's not needed or we just have to be accepted for our vernacular. And, you know, there's times and places for different stuff. How you speak at home amongst your family and your kids is going to be different how you speak in a business setting. Now, fortunately for us, there's not going to be too much code switching because this is how we talk anyway.
Right.
You know, it'd be more sometimes code switching when we're talking to our
homies.
Yeah, because, you know, you gotta think about how often we've been told we speak white.
Bro.
My business partner, Paul, he's a white guy. And he said, "You got the whitest voice I ever heard." This is just my, you know,
how is the...
you know, and it's just, you know, sometimes, you know, there's just a professionalism that I think that when you're brought up a certain way, and you speak like this, that's just what it is.
Could that have been a thing from trauma? I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, if you're fine.
A thing from trauma of our parents of like, hey, this is how you need to behave in a white environment because
maybe, yeah, you know, because I know my mom, she always faced issues with kind of being the angry black woman in her positions at different banks she worked at and whatnot. And now I'm looking back, she might not have been the most agreeable or most, you know, maybe her decorum wasn't the best or something like that. I'm not, you know, I wasn't there. But it was something that was always on my mind when I was in corporate America. Like how now there's only but so much I do anyway. Like, and now the music's out the way, you know, because there's always just a negative stigma that comes with hip hop, which I hate.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I'm trying to like overcome and overshadow. Like, you know, this is a cultural thing. You know, it's not a rap thing.
Right.
And, you know, what I've learned doing this is once I just got to lean into more of who I already am and it works out. I don't know if it's necessarily like that for everybody. You know, some people may have to do like a code switching type thing, but I'm fortunate to where I'm in a place to where it's encouraged for me to be me, more of who I am, just the best version of it.
Yeah, I think I'm on the same page. It's difficult for me at times because there's like the I'm dressed up me, and there's the I'm kicking off my shoes me. And kicking off my shoes can mean like when I'm with my homie, yo, what up, dog? How you bro?
Yeah, if I'm just throwing just a hoodie and just regular, just me, and I'm not worried about how I'm going to be perceived when I'm out in public. I'm just being me, or what I'm saying, or I'm not policing anything I say or anything like that. You know, and just when you're, and I wouldn't even say just when you're doing something professional. Yeah, you should have the decorum of someone that's being professional.
So my question for you, and this might be somewhat controversial, maybe. is that us understanding that and needing to, switch to be more conscious of how we're viewed? Is that what it means or is a part of for us and our generation specifically being Black in Pittsburgh? Where we could almost say like these are maybe the effects of white privilege or the effects of where racism and the history of being Black in this city has brought us.
I definitely think it has a lot to do with being Black and being here. There was a whole year and a half I only worked in Ohio. Just because it was in my head that it was easier for me in Ohio. Like Ohio people were a little bit less prejudiced and whatnot.
Right.
And it may have been true or may have not have been. I think maybe it's my skill set got better.
Right.
When I think it does come from, being around here because people are a certain way around here. And I know people probably experience it when there be agents that come from other places. They think they're going to come to Allegheny County. Yeah. And it's going to be all sweet, and it's not. Like, people are a different breed of person around here. And that goes for white and Black.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, for our Black community to be so small, we got too many of an unfavorable part of our community for the population that we have.
Yeah.
There's way too much of people making the WPXI comment section right.
And you know what? So to go along with that, I got culture shock the first time. My wife's from Detroit. The first time we went into Myers, it's like reminds me of Hills or Kmart type store up there. First time I went in that store in Jefferson? I can't think of the name of it, but it's a middle-class Black neighborhood. Benzes, BMWs, all types of middle-class, 30,000 and up vehicles, no hoopties or nothing. You go inside, nobody's sagging. There's no one, and there's nothing wrong with, people want to dye their hair and do all types of crazy stuff. But no one has like half blonde, half Black dreads, and there's no hood urban culture anywhere in sight, but it's 100% Black.
But you also got to look at what percentage of that city is Black.
Well, no, you're right. But what I'm saying, just the culture, to see it, it
was awe-inspiring.
It didn't feel real. It's like, what is going on? Like, am I in like some weird alternate universe or something?
Yeah.
To when it stuck out to me and it hit me like, we're supposed to have this in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Like, this is supposed to be we don't have this. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, you figure, because it'd be a point to where they don't really let us congregate as far as Black people. But also when we do congregate, some BS happen. So it's a double-edged sword. Like a lot of times, if you're just in Pittsburgh, an event is going to be, just for me personally, I'll have a little bit more fun at an event if it's a more mixed event. Like I'll have a little bit better time. I'll feel a little bit more safe.
Yeah.
And that's a shame, but it is what it is,
It almost feels maybe like partially a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, imagine a wheel that might get shaky every now and then. It needs, a little push. For the most part, it's going to go on its own. And it might just need a little tap just to keep it straight every now and then. Where, yes, it needs an outside force to keep it going, like a small outside force, but it still fulfills its own destiny.
Yeah, I just feel, because I feel the community of Black nerds, Black creatives, Black folk who just chilling. It's kind of small sometimes in Pittsburgh. Yeah. Or we don't congregate. We stay in the house.
You know what I want to do? I want to create a fraternity of Black nerds. like how they have social clubs, motorcycle clubs, like a real nonprofit organization where we have members and almost like Masons, Freemasons or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's really a big misconception of like who we are and what we do and what we be about and things like that. Like it's the same people, we're the same hood that you grew up in.
Yeah.
Same everything. It's just, we might have some different interests.
Yeah.
May have some different, lifestyle path or career choices. But we can, like, I'll be having to explain to people, like, I'm from the same neighborhood you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same exact everything. Same free lunch, same everything.
And that's the thing too, where, relating back to earlier in our discussion, like even for me when I was younger, I had to not smile as much, walking around.
We were talking about that earlier. I think a lot of that to where you become kind of, like I said, hyper vigilant on try to overprove your hood status or masculinity.
Well, to an extent, you have to, because we have our own amount of, bullying. Like if somebody interprets you as soft and they're going to test you, if they think you're smart or they think you sound white, they're going to test you. So you have to let them know.
That's why I had to always let people I have absolutely no qualms with making this a physical altercation when I was younger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I think I lucked up when I got tall.
Yeah.
When my height came in and people started calling me big dude, it's like, all right,
there's a lot of less stuff that I got to deal with. Like once I hit that growth spurt, and let me leave this guy alone. But sometimes just in them urban situations, that's why I think a lot of us in Pittsburgh are so reclusive and we don't congregate and we, because you don't want to deal with it after a while.
Yeah. That's definitely a thing. Let me see. I know there was. We kind of covered AI.
Yeah, I think it should be used. I like it for artwork.
Yeah,
because it makes it easier for the artist to get. Because I know with me, like artwork, I would have like a vision, and I couldn't necessarily get it across, or the person couldn't do it. With this, now I like it for artwork.
Chat GPT, just like in general.
Yeah, I like it because I use it a lot for business wise.
So let me guess, you got the paid subscription. Probably gave it a name.
Yes, yes. His name is Zeke.
Nice.
His name is Zeke.
Nice.
I appreciate what I like doing with the Chat GPT. Sometimes I like doing a verse and seeing it break down the verse. That's fun for me sometimes.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah, because sometimes when you write the way I write with so many layers and entendres, sometimes I'm like, how many entendres you find in this one?
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I found like 7. And I'm like, oh, see, I only thought I had like 5, 6, but I see where I missed that one. I kind of like that, like as far as on like a personal level.
Yeah.
But I use it a lot for, business-wise, as far as just making sure my scripts are cool.
Follow me here. See if you could agree with what I'm about to say. I think Chat GPT is the concept, without all the intelligence and all-knowing stuff that it has, just the energy that it gives you and how it talks to you is like the ideal best friend.
It could be. It depends on how you configure it.
But even still, no matter how you configure it, just the way that it's programmed to be at its most basic form, where it's supportive about everything.
That's if you set it up like that.
You can set it to be not supportive.
You can set it to be kind of condescending. You can set it to be kind of mean. You can set it to be argumentative.
I must have missed this.
Yeah, you can set your Chat GPT. It's not always like that, and that's what I learned. And there's difference between like Grok and Chat GPT.
Right.
As far as like how they may talk to you and how the difference on like how the paid versions interact with you as well.
Right.
And also, it depending on how you're talking to it. Because right now, it's not a true intelligence at this moment.
Right.
It's a hypersonic search engine.
Right.
That's able to configure and come up with, different stuff. So it's not like a true intelligence. And the reason why I say that is because there's a couple instances to where there's math equations that haven't been discovered that they can't, that different mathematicians are working on. And it can't come up with something that hasn't
been
said
discovered already,
But
right?
it can pull information from everything and then come up with something. That's what I had discovered. If we're talking about quantum stuff, that's a whole different world, because they say that's pulling stuff from different, planes of different universes and stuff like that. We're talking about like the quantum computing, But this regular stuff, these are just like hypersonic search engines that's able to, put stuff together quickly and fast.
Kinda. It's the difference between AI and AG, I think it is what you're saying, where it's not able to create new stuff out of thin air.
Yeah.
So it does, and this is where there's kind of like a thin line between what a human does and what AI does. So like we use pattern recognition just as humans. AI is modeled to be the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So like just how I explained, I took peaches and cream, took some elements.
They can do the same exact thing.
Well, that's what it does, like in Suno. So, whenever AI, period, whenever you're feeding it your information, it has these neural networks connecting these lines and stuff, and it knows all of these things, and it's reproducing similar results. And that's what you were saying, where it can reproduce what it already knows, but it can't create brand new things based on that, where it's kind of scary. It's scary to look at a photo or a video of me where I know I didn't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or
that is wild. That is wild.
the idea that I can take 16-year-old me, an acapella that I recorded, load it up to get a model of my voice, put it in Suno, and create a whole album that I never spit, but I have a whole album of me. Yeah. Or if an artist pass away, or if I want to create a brand new
there's some
artist.
ways I think it's kind of cool, like Beanie Siegel getting his voice back.
Yeah.
Like I think there's some instances to where it can be used for something that's really, really good, really awesome, And sometimes, I've used it to where I might have wanted a female voice or a different male voice, just maybe speaking. I've used it for that. To where you don't gotta always outsource something.
Right.
I like it for stuff like that, just creation processes. I don't think it should completely take away from the person with the brush. Right. But I think it's cool it might have, this is a little pre-color mixer, you know what I mean? Like it might be a new invention to where, I want this color, and it mixes it up for you and you got it right there. If it's something that's gonna help you create your art, I'm all for it.
I've been thinking of using it like from a producer standpoint, because I've always had issues when I get with an artist and, they're not writing enough and, late for the studio and everything else, where, you can literally just create an
outsource
artist.
it.
Yeah.
You can just outsource it. Because like a lot of stuff, like some stuff I want a different voice singing or something like that. Or you don't want to always outsource or get, or you don't like the way they voice sound or...
Yeah.
I really think it's great in those types of ways,
One of the really important conversations I wanted to touch on, self-assessment and temper control that you had spoke on earlier. And I guess this ties into a really big conversation I wanted to have with you about, for you, what does it mean to be a man?
To be a protector, provider, and offer a school of thought to the people that are underneath your protection or your guidance or your provision. And just trying to do that in the best way you can possible and not put any of your past traumas on those that you're trying to take care of. just the best way you can.
Provision, how do you define that?
Provision is, I would say, it's not only monetary. It's presence and giving a way of thinking, a way of conducting yourself. Certain things that just don't necessarily get taught, So it can be monetary or physical, like provision, but also intellectual and spiritual provision. Because teaching someone how to properly deal with themselves or the questions they may have about the universe or race or sexuality or finance or gender or anything that someone's going to have a question about growing up. Someone has to help provide that school of thought, that way of thinking, that way of dealing with things. And
So like the like not necessarily teaching them what the answer is or giving them your answers, but just how to think.
yeah, critical thinking is way more important
Right.
than giving somebody an answer. Like, hey, maybe you should look here, or maybe you should assess this,
Yeah.
or maybe you should turn that rock over and see what. You always give somebody a gentle nudge, But that's one thing I appreciate about my father is just really taking that time
Yeah.
to make sure I didn't have one way of looking at stuff.
Right. That actually kind of answered my question about self-assessment too, where, man, you put all of these things together, and in my mind, I have like light bulbs going off like crazy, like explosions of if 19-year-old me was sitting here having this conversation with you, where would I be like right now, or what would I do with these tools, right?
Yeah.
And I can't say that I'd be mature enough to take it
To
and do the right
digest it
thing.
and use it.
Yeah, but I feel like if I was able to take this information and use it, like how could I use it in its most beneficial way? And I'm hearing, like, throughout this whole podcast, I'm hearing, self-assessment and a lot of reflection, understanding who I am personally.
Yeah.
Of course, loving on the people around me, but protecting myself, my own energy,
Your peace.
my own inner peace, loving myself, appreciating the things around me, stopping to smell the roses, the moments, appreciating the moments, the art in everything I see.
The process.
The process.
Gotta love the process. I remember this one guy, he used to say, like, people run too much doing this business I do. And he said they don't walk enough and look around and look up at the trees and enjoy being outside. Because, with my job, just the nature of my job is way more no's than yeses. Because I work based off of leads.
Right.
When you're talking about leads, you're dealing with percentages that you're going to close, just the numbers.
Right.
Your skill set will skew that percentage either up or down. I'm going to come across people from all walks of life. Some mean, some not. Some of the mean people is just because you don't know what's going on the other side of their door. But really taking the time to humanize yourself and them, I think is like what a lot of us really don't really take the time to do. Really humanize yourself. Understand that people have life going on.
Yeah.
That's the main thing I had to learn, especially with this job. There's something going on the other side of their door when I'm knocking. A lot of times they're not expecting me. But however, I still have to be astute and aware enough to know I'm talking about something that people don't want to talk about. And sometimes you got to be in a little bit more in people's face. A little bit sometimes you got to make it uncomfortable for people when you love them.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Is that fair though? Because you know how like this new generation is kind of like No, like leave me be to self-destruct in peace because that's what I want to do.
Well, I think, if you love somebody, you may see something they don't necessarily see. You may know something they may not necessarily know. And you may see a direction someone's going in, maybe, again, to their detriment or something like that. I think it's our responsibility as professionals or even as elders to some, as men, to pull somebody's coattail or make it a little bit uncomfortable for them. Now, I'm not going to do it so many times to where I'm getting out of my day or what I'm doing, but just to be a good man, I think you got to put forth effort to make stuff uncomfortable for people, because way too much about life is about everybody being comfortable.
Yeah.
Everybody want to be politically correct. Everybody want everybody to feel good. Everything don't feel good all the time. Life just don't feel good all the time. Everything just ain't, you know what I mean? My mom used to say, every day ain't Kennywood. You know, everything ain't having a good time.
That's like one of the beauties of life is appreciating the roller coaster. Like, there's down moments too.
I go into, like, no one wants to go in someone's home and talk about funerals every day. But, they always say out of desperation comes passion a lot of times in this business. And, people get into it for different reasons, but they end up staying for another reason, for something else. I remember when I first got into it, I seen somebody make my paycheck in 45 minutes. And I was like, But then there's times to where I drove all the way to Philly and I didn't close nobody, but I still knew like I was on to something. There's times to where I went outside of somebody's house, like after like trying to set appointments with somebody, they just keep playing to where like I cried because I knew they needed it and I knew they just didn't want to talk about it. And how frustrating that is. But then you have to learn that you can't love somebody more than they love themselves or to the detriment of yourself. But that don't mean you stop loving.
You just gotta it's that codependency thing, you gotta cut that off so you don't damage yourself by seeing them damage themselves.
Sometimes you just gotta let people do what they doing to themselves.
It's a good book. You said you're into audiobooks. I'm real big into audiobooks too. I think her last name is Battle, but a book called Codependency No More that I read, probably we'll say I went through 75, 80% of it or whatever, but it's like real dope. I didn't even know codependency was a thing. And so I have audiobooks, not Audible, like specifically Audiobooks, the company subscription. So when you don't have a book that you want to read and you get them credits, like, I'm just clicking on some random stuff. And this was like after I got my 48 Laws of Power and Art of War and all of that stuff. And it was like, all right, let me just try to find some other stuff.
I really enjoy it. I do a lot of books on sales and closing, a lot on personal development, a lot on procrastination, you know what I mean, stuff like that. And then just relationships and how to deal with people that you love. I read a lot of books on like, one I read, The Covert Narcissist. It was a good one. And then there was one on borderline personality disorder that I read. And you really don't realize how many women are walking around with that. Even men too. I don't really, I'm not in relationships with men, I don't know, but dealing with that borderline personality disorder and stuff like that. And just a lot of stuff with mental health. And
you ever read the book on well, there's a lot of books, but like DISC assessment, where they have the personality assessment that's based on the colors? Red, green, blue, yellow. I think you'd be extremely interested in it. There's so they use it in training, like managements and work crews, business crews and stuff like that. And it's basically it puts people in group
like personality type.
Personality type.
Yeah, I think Eric Thomas got one, something like that.
It's all based on the same signs.
Yeah, okay.
Where like red is like you're really passionate, like fiery,
Yeah,
outgoing.
yeah. I think he just named them different, like a pilot and a you know what I mean, or traffic control or something like that. Yeah, so it's all the same type.
Yeah.
You know, science.
So
just different labels.
There's a guy that actually came out with the science, like I want to say a long time ago, and then people kind of have their different labels and how they relate to it, but it's all based on that original science.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, that and
Because one thing is like sales, especially like door-to-door final expense, it's way more, I say EQ than IQ. It's way more of understanding people and how to deal with people than really how intelligent you are. You know, I think that's one of my gifts is like being able to operate on different types of people and like my gift of discernment. I think I have a really good gift of discernment.
yeah.
You know, so just being able to operate in them different arenas socially, I feel has helped me a lot with this business. Because I know, like, cause every presentation it's a mini performance.
Yeah.
You know, the crowd's either feeling you or they're not. Sometimes you can win the crowd. Sometimes the crowd don't want nothing to do with you. Sometimes they don't even want you there. Yeah. You know, and that's one of the, the parallels that I found. But,
I feel like you've been doing it for so long, and there's no way I can relate to everything. Though some of the salesman things that you're speaking on kind of hit home, because I had my stint for a few years is selling like bootleg movies and my own music CDs and stuff out the trunk, where just the salesmanship of it is just kind of hitting. But yeah, overall, just an amazing thing. One of the next to last things I want to mention, of course, Hater Magnet. We don't get to talk about it too much, but this is your brother's brand.
Yeah. My brother really does the Hater Magnet thing. He's still doing it.
Yeah. And this, my main man brought me a T-shirt.
Yeah, that's just my brother. He still got it. He got his designs and whatnot. He's doing something. Me and him are actually working on some designs together that we've been doing as of late. And he's still really into it. You know what I mean? He's pressing all of his own stuff with the stuff that needs to be like that. He's taught me a decent amount as far as.
The first time I seen Hater Magnet, I was working at Dairy Queen. So I used to work at Dairy Queen down the street from Shinley. Mm-hmm. Were you a part of it back then too?
Yeah.
I remember it was the black one that had the red circle on it.
That was the OG logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, ever since its inception, I've been involved pretty much. You know, and then, because one of the first artists we ever sponsored, I think, first artist that Hater Magnet sponsored was Wiz.
Okay.
Yeah, like I think it was a show with like Wiz, Sharon Dawn, or something. It was, one of his first out of town shows.
Yeah.
You know, that's why, Wiz has always showed us love. That's why when he came back and he did them couple shows down in the Strip, I mean, he let us open up for him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like he's always showed us love. Just, I've known him from back in the day, back from when he was Cam. You know what I mean? He's always been a cool dude to me. You know what I mean? I haven't seen too much since he's been on. But since he's been on, he did give JSP opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he let us open up for him down the Strip. We threw a parking lot party with the clothing company and stuff like.
That's what's up.
You know what I mean?
Me personally, I've never been introduced to him formally, so I don't really know him. We had, I think we were like joking back and forth on Twitter one time or something like that. So it's more like mutual. I never have anything bad to say about him just because I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's dope just to hear, that someone that blew, someone big that, even though I don't know him, if you from Pittsburgh and they say, oh, you from, Hazelwood or wherever else, it's like, well, damn, it's kind of like I know you. Like, we got all these mutual friends and family or whatnot, so that's dope.
Yeah, I just love to see people win, man.
Yeah.
No matter who it is, especially from the city. If you're doing something and it's flourishing and you're doing positive and you ain't hurting nobody, I'm all for it.
Something else I forgot to mention. I talked about this with Steve Maffey, but you were also a part of my original Flat Out magazine.
Yeah.
And you were actually the one. So for all the people that's probably wondering when I mentioned it, you were the one that brought it up that reminded me, like, yo, Kalaj Dame been doing this for years.
Yeah, a long time.
Matter of fact, I lost the door that everybody signed, but I still got the big piece of fabric that covered the other door.
Yeah.
And yeah, the videos on there.
Yeah, some people are pillars in the hip hop community, and have been, even throughout our journeys, throughout our personal lives.
Yeah.
Professionally, there's just some people that just always show love to everybody, regardless of if we're gonna get recognition for it or not.
Yeah.
Some people there's just some of us that give people promotion, we give people opportunities, we give people recognition. And that's just what I've always done. That's what you've always done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I always wanted to give people, like when we were throwing our showcases, I want to give people somewhere to perform that was kind of in that limbo place, like I was.
Yeah.
Like how Chemical and Ciego was, or K Pound, or Matt Cartel. There's a couple entities that were kind of in that limbo place of, I got my own following, I got my own people, but I'm just too this for this or too this for this. And we always try to give people a place to come do their thing while we were doing ours, and so we could exchange fan bases and stuff like that. That's what I always felt was community and networking.
Yeah.
So.
Last question for you. Do you believe you're successful?
Yes. Not as I would like to be.
How do you define success?
For me personally, it's being able to financially support myself for now and the future, and having a substantial amount of free time.
So, I absolutely will not step on your definition. Everyone is entitled to their own, as they see fit. Me sitting across the table from you, I see an extremely successful man.
I appreciate you, man.
Like your energy is, to me, priceless. Couldn't be defined by a dollar amount.
I appreciate you.
If you had 50 cents in your pocket and didn't know how you were going to eat tomorrow, you would still be one of the most successful men that I know, simply based off of who I know you to be.
I appreciate you, man.
And this conversation, I've learned so much more. I've learned about the machine and almost like a clock, like the inner workings of Cory O.
Yeah, because I was a little bit nervous to do it at first.
Yeah?
Yeah, 'cause not for us to speak, for me, because I didn't want to say nothing to offend anybody.
Right.
And sometimes in my personal life, I have the propensity to say things that might be a little bit shocking to people that don't know me.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's why I'll take you like, man, I just want to make sure I don't do nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But then it ain't like I don't know how to act, so,
Nah, you gravy. And just, to go along with that, to be like a strong black man. Like when I think of the concept of strong black men and my Mount Rushmore of people that I would want in my circle, someone whose phone number I would want in my phone pinned to the top, someone that I could tell my wife and kids, yo, if you see this dude in public, you run into him, all respect, all love, call him good dude, like 100% you are
I
on
appreciate
the
you, bro. I just want to be a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
Like Ricky always say, I want like being solid.
Yeah.
I just want to be a solid person to where my foundation is steady. I stand on principles.
Yeah.
Like what I say, and when I say something, it means something.
Yeah.
Just
you that guy to me, bro.
The feeling is mutual, man. I just appreciate just even somebody hitting me up and giving me an opportunity, giving me just a little bit of flowers, just even an opportunity just to speak.
Yeah.
Because it's been years since I spoke this long to anybody. Because I've been in such a bubble trying to protect my sanctity.
Yeah.
So I just appreciate everything and just everything that you're doing for the professional community of us young black professionals and us in the hip hop community that have never fell out of love with the community or the culture or the process. It's just, life exists as it exists and on the timeline that God sees fit, not necessarily us.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you're just giving us people just from many facets that be able to, an opportunity to speak, you know what I mean, and help further our movements and yours. And they say that's the best way to become truly rich is the more people you help get what they want, you in turn get what you want. So,
I appreciate that, bro.
sure.
100%. This man. And while we're still alive right now, I'm gonna say it right now. I have this itch. So I told Bus Crates and Akil, I ain't put Akil's out yet because we gotta redo some parts, but I told them both that they inspired me to create, to like go back and make beats and, try to get into it, right? This specifically didn't necessarily inspire me to write. I'm still like, I don't really want to write nothing. But it 100% inspired me and made me think of the idea and concept that I do not have a song with you nor JSP.
Yeah, we still be rapping.
Yo,
Like,
I don't know if you've seen one of my recent posts, like, yo, I'm about to work on some music, make this album, that album. You have my word.
Yeah.
If I get back in the studio and the creative juices start flowing and stuff, I will absolutely call you. We will work.
Oh yeah,
on
please
something.
hit me. I'd be honored anytime somebody hits me up for a song. To where I love making good songs with people. Like it's not always a situation where I'm always trying to spar with somebody. Like sometimes I just like making great songs with people. And that's what I be into.
It's love. Thank you, brother. You know what it is? It's my play cousin right here, Cory, the rapping businessman. Rapping salesman, my insurance salesman.
The rapping insurance man. Yeah, that's
Cory, the rapping insurance salesman. Does that work?
Just insurance man. Yeah, that's part of the new branding.
Of course, I know him as a swank god, but you know what it is? It's me, Kalaj Dame. We will see you next time.
Peace to all the play cousins.
Late nights, real talks, turn the noise down. Welcome to Kalaj Dame. City lights, long days, heavy on the mind. Everybody talking, but they never take the time. Truth in my chest, I don't sugarcoat pain. If you sitting at the table, you gotta show your face. Conversations deeper than the surface we've been shown. Ain't here to sell a dream, just to show you what I know. Every voice matters, every story got a way. If you living it for real, you gon' feel this pain. No scripts, no frames, just heart and time. If you listen close, you might change your mind. We don't argue just to win debates. We just shine a light where they hide the grave. It's the Kalaj Dame podcast, where the real don't gotta broadcast. Every truth gotta pass. Every voice got a lane. It's the Kalaj Dame podcast. Pull a seat, let the walls crack. If you ever felt unseen, you gon' feel your name. Yeah. From the block to the boardroom, same questions asked. Why we build so fast, we never heal the past. I don't play judge, I don't play your role. I just let you talk while the story unfolds. Bridging gaps, they pretend they there. Men and women trying to meet halfway, no filter. For respect, stay intact. If it hit too close,